We have very different sounding open to the show, but we love it. We absolutely love it.
I'm not sure what everybody heard out there. We were playing a very popular song from Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So I don't know what cleared.
Yeah, exactly right. All right. So we have a lot to get to today, but probably most importantly, we have this awesome drive going on in the parking lot here at iHeart San Diego. Residents of San Diego have been afflicted by the flooding that has occurred over the course of the past 2 weeks. A lot of drainage issues in low-lying areas. And so when you get that much rainfall that quickly, houses fill up, people lose their cars, people are displaced, homeless shelters fill up, and you have overflow situations where they don't really have places to put people. And so people need things and stuff and clothes and toiletries. So if you have anything left over in the house, or if you feel so inclined to stop over by the Walmart on Arrow Drive over here or Murphy Canyon Road, whichever one, you want to pick up a pack of socks, you want to pick up some toiletries, you want to bring some from your house that are gently used, you want to bring blankets, you want to bring extra clothing for, maybe your kids grew out of or you don't fit in anymore, they've gone out of style, bring it all to the parking lot here at 9660 Granite Ridge Drive, and it's going to be distributed to people who've been affected by the flooding in San Diego.
Toiletries, toothpaste, toothbrushes, all that kind of stuff, shampoo, conditioner, anything you can do to help out, because guess what, it's gonna rain again this week. So the displacement will continue, I'm sure, which is very unfortunate.
As I was going through the house looking for stuff to bring for today, and of course I left it all at home, so Kendall's bringing it, but when I was looking through, it's like Kendall's a teacher and parents re-gift gifts to teachers all the time. So if you're sitting at home with a bunch of stuff that was re-gifted to you, we're bringing in some blankets and some cups and some stuff that Kendall got as literally just people pawning it off onto their teachers. So we're going to give all that back. But just anything you can give today, it's important. Helping our own and taking care of our own. I think it's a big deal here in San Diego, and it's part of what makes this community strong.
Now it kicks off at 8:00.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you come by right now, you'll just see cones in the parking lot. So 8:00 is when this thing gets going.
Yeah, 8:00 to 5 p.m. tonight. So at any point during your workday, after you drop off the kids, or leaving for your lunch break, or on your way home, frankly, if you're leaving early, a lot of people obviously working remotely from home. We understand that, listening through the iHeart Radio app. It's 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. Really excited to be a part of that this morning. It's a great cause. Okay, so the Aaron Rodgers storyline in the offseason leading up to his first season with the New York Jets, it was kumbaya, man. It was, man, oh man, the Jets are going to win at least 9 games, most likely double-digit wins. They could even potentially compete for the AFC East. I mean, are we talking Super Bowl? Are we talking Super Bowl for Aaron Rodgers? Is it going to be his 5th MVP season? I think so.
You sounded like Sebastian
Maniscalco.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're talking Super Bowl. I was talking to Aaron, and I said to him, we got to go win a Super Bowl. And they did not win a Super Bowl. In fact, on 9/11, if you remember, it was the opener for the Jets against the Bills. He's running out with the American flag over his shoulder, and 4 plays into that game, he tears his Achilles, and it not only felt like the Jets season was over, but their hopes for any sort of success whatsoever, because the entire team, the entire organization had bought into Aaron Rodgers being the savior of the situation. Well, Zach Blatt and Diana Rossini wrote an expose on the New York Jets and the culture, and that article from The Athletic, which is available now, was just released about an hour ago, and it is a fiasco.
I'm so glad you put this on the rundown this morning, Rich.
My gosh.
This was the first thing I woke up to today. I get notifications from The Athletic, and the first thing I saw was this article, and I popped it open, and you get about halfway down it. It's when it starts to get really juicy. Because do you remember when Pat McAfee had Aaron Rodgers on, and they were talking about the leaks that were coming out of the Jets organization?
Yes.
Oh my God. You don't know how crazy that got. So apparently that sent Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets, into an absolute tailspin, threatening to take the phones of the staffers with the Jets to look who is the leak and who is the mole that's letting out information. So everything in the article is about how the Jets completely catered to Aaron Rodgers from the minute he walked in the door for the first meeting with Woody Johnson to literally today. And so this article is fantastic. What a read. If you have The Athletic, this is worth subscribing. They go on deals like where they go 99 cents for a year or something.
Yeah.
That's how I got it. And oh my God, this article is so juicy. This is better than any Vanderpump Rules that your wife was watching last night, I promise.
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Woody Johnson, easy there, Fletch.
Yeah, good lord. A little starch in me this morning.
I'm here for this is the content that should be coming out the Wednesday before the week of the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
This is what we deserve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers looks like a mechanic who's got some bad news for my car every time I look at the guy. Like, he's like, sorry, this is what's going to have to happen.
Just got that red rag in his hands and he's just squeezing it between his palms, trying to get the residue, from working on your engine.
Yeah.
He might have a torque wrench poking out of his back pocket and goes, well, I got to tell you, I mean, the carburetor's fine. It's it's that vent hose that I was not expecting. And it's hard to get to. We're going to have to take out the whole manifold to get to it.
It's going to cost you thousands.
Yeah, it's really, look, it's not the part. The part's replaceable. Let's be honest with each other. This thing's made overseas, but it's just a labor of getting to it.
Man hour.
Ah, gosh. Anyways, we're going to have to buy a specialized tool. You're going to have to come back, but it's going to be like a 3-dayer. We'll give you the loaner.
That's right. That's right. What's your car worth? $6,500. God.
I mean, you're
It's
right
too
there.
bad. It's too bad because it's got $6,200 fix.
Yeah, you're right there on the line. It's not totaled. It's not totaled.
So
but
what's really great about this piece coming out today, and Rich, we've been through this now 7-8 years, where the week before this week, the bye week before the Super Bowl, there's no news that comes out from any team. Nobody wants to make any headlines. It's usually a really tough week to provide content for. This article has enough content in it to last
you
a full show.
You keep talking about the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl like we are dying of thirst in a desert of no
That's not
news.
the point of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is usually teams don't release anything this week. That's just a staple.
We're at the point in the space program where we travel around the dark side of the moon. We lose contact with the Earth.
We're gonna be okay.
You guys are nerds.
But I know, but this is like the third time you brought it up on air. It's fascinating.
It's because this week generally is dry. And here we go again.
I'm sorry.
Try.
I'm excited about this article.
Okay, listen. The article it's sourced from 30 different people. People on the inside, and like it's clear that there are people on the inside that are leaking information. So like maybe his concerns were warranted.
It sounds like Robert Saleh just went crazy.
But so Robert Saleh is stuck between a rock and a hard place, because if you look at his record, Robert Saleh is not a good head coach. If we just distill it down to, and again, is this fair or not? I don't know, but it's the way we look and judge head coaches, wins and losses. That's it. It doesn't matter how great of a culture you've built over 3 years. If you've won only a handful or a handful of games, nobody really cares. It's like, well, I mean, we could have just stuck with the old guy if we wanted bad results. And that's what it is. It's a results-driven business. So Robert Saleh is floundering right now. He is trying ferociously to keep his job. And so Aaron Rodgers, when they signed him, he was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. This is it. My savior has arrived. I can handle all the defense stuff. We'll have a great defense. We'll get the ball back for Aaron. And then Aaron and Nathaniel, they could do whatever magic they worked out together in Green Bay. They could handle that. Oh, okay, good. Oh, he's
done.
Just dusting his hands off. I'm done.
It's a house of cards. They built a house of cards, and it was built around Aaron Rodgers being the foundation of the thing. And when the right card gets pulled, the house falls down.
Yep.
So I mean, that's what happened. And then as it fell down, we saw all the inner workings of this house and went, yeah, that doesn't look like that's going to pass code, man. Things aren't great there. So look. If this is held together for one more season and Aaron Rodgers comes out and just balls and then is Aaron Rodgers of old, this article's deleted.
So one of these 30 sources called Aaron Rodgers the assistant GM and said he's not an assistant GM. Why are we doing this? Why are we treating him like this? One of the sources talked about the fact that Aaron Rodgers was literally the king in the entire place, which I think we all kind of assumed and joked about, but have it come out of the organization is crazy. And then people talked about the fact that Robert Saleh literally pulled receipts going back to Mike Tomlin coaching without Big Ben, Bill Belichick coaching without Tom Brady, and showing their records to decision makers within the Jets and showing that, look, I'm not doing a bad job. The record's not because of me. It's because we lost our quarterback. And every coach goes through that. The best coaches of all time go through that when they lose their quarterback. And it's just very interesting to see the insecurity that position can give a person with Robert Saleh this year, who's seeming to doing everything to try to keep his job.
It's a long road back, though. It's a long road back. So for certain coaches, you could be a head coach, you could get fired, and then you could jump right into another head coaching gig. It happened with Frank Reich when he left Indianapolis for Carolina. But guess what? After the Carolina situation with the Panthers and what happened with Bryce Young this season, it's going to be a long while before Frank Reich gets another crack at being a head coach, most likely. I mean, you could say that for a lot of coaches who unsuccessfully had their first crack at it. Josh McDaniels had to wait a decade until somebody else gave him a shot at being a head coach, and had to win Super Bowls with the Patriots after somebody gave him a shot to be a head coach somewhere else. It really is one of those situations where, yeah, I get it. You know, it sounds very desperate, but at the same token, if you were in his situation, wouldn't you try to cater to Aaron Rodgers too? Because it is literally your only hope. The Jets, they have built this whole team around Aaron Rodgers, which was very telling with this statement from the FI. I'll read a quick excerpt. This I thought was very funny. Over the summer, so talking about the preseason after Rodgers had arrived in New York or New Jersey at the training facility, Rodgers collaborated with Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, to construct the offense. Saleh, as usual, was hands-off on their side of the ball. Rodgers and Hackett's relationship dynamic is more than frat brothers, than player coach. Rodgers appreciates having free will to operate the system as he sees fit. Both Rodgers and Hackett call the offense quarterback friendly, but as the Jets had learned in 2023, it may only apply to one quarterback. That's what Aaron wants, was the common refrain from Hackett when he told other coaches what plays he wanted in during training camp. So this is what happens when you don't have a system, when you have an offense or a defense designed around one player. Like you said, TD, it becomes a house of cards where if that player leaves, you don't have anybody else who could operate it. Right. It is Aaron Rodgers' offense.
Right. But they knew that going in. I mean, everything was falling apart anyway. So if you could find some sort of glue here that could hold it all together, that all of a sudden, hey, this can work. I mean, it was actually a pretty good strategy because things were going to fall apart. So getting Aaron Rodgers in there, the only storyline that was bigger than Aaron Rodgers, the only person who could make more headlines than Aaron Rodgers was Taylor Swift. So literally Aaron Rodgers is the story all summer long. What is it, like 8 weeks into the season? Aaron Rodgers hasn't played in 2 months, and we're still talking about Aaron Rodgers until Taylor Swift. So, he's a big deal.
So the next 4 articles after what Rich, or the 4 paragraphs after what Rich just read you, is just lambasting Nathaniel Hackett and the decisions he was making in season and why he's probably the biggest part to blame and why the Jets were so bad this season.
No, he's awesome.
They referenced the game against the Cowboys in which Micah Parsons completely dominated the entire game. Multiple people on the offensive side of the football went up to Nathaniel Hackett asking him to give Dwayne Brown more help with Micah Parsons, and he refused the entire game.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons ended up with 11 quarterback hits in that game. And so you end up looking back on this thing, and Nathaniel Hackett has been Aaron Rodgers' guy. Hell, he got them the job in Denver basically because of the success that the Packers were having. Nathaniel Hackett just seems like a joke at this point, who's just a buddy of Aaron Rodgers, who will continue to get jobs because he's a buddy of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Saleh, the mantra is positive vibes only. This obviously talking about the head coach of the Jets. He had it printed on T-shirts. Many people around the building wore it. And apparently in the locker room, he built a good rapport with players. And then obviously we saw how he conducted himself in front of the media. And the article goes on to say, but behind closed doors, the vibes weren't always positive. Especially when Saleh would see the negative press reports. He would often bring up how, in his mind, the Giants didn't get as much negative coverage as the Jets, calling it unfair. In the aftermath of the Rodgers injury, Saleh bemoaned his bad luck. Throughout his tenure, he often wondered aloud if he was doomed to suffer the same fate as Vic Fangio, brilliant defensive coach with the misfortune at quarterback. Fangio was fired from the Broncos in 2021 after 3 seasons, 19-30 record, despite building an elite defense. Saleh's Jets, an elite defense, ranked number 1 in 2023 by Pro Football Focus, are 18-33 in his years as a coach. So yeah, you look at the measurables on that side of the ball, everything is taken care of. But this is why I should say the narrative has come to pass that you need an offensive-minded head coach, that you need a guy who constructs a team that is not just one quarterback friendly, but has a system that is team offense friendly, that you can inject somebody else into that position and it's going to be okay. Nathaniel Hackett, for all of the good things that Rodgers says about him, it's worked with one quarterback so far. That's it. And when you hire an offensive coordinator, it's incumbent upon you to make sure that coordinator can work with the other pieces around the team. Hackett proved he couldn't work with another Hall of Fame quarterback potentially in Russell Wilson. And then he comes to New York and he couldn't work with Zach Wilson. He regressed. He didn't improve. So Aaron Rodgers going down, I mean, he's 38 years old. You know, you had to have a plan for just in case this guy did get hurt at some point, and there was no plan.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely spot on. And it was actually a bummer because I really wanted the Jets to do well. I wanted to see that storyline play out. It would have been good for the NFL. It would have been a good watch.
Well, sticking with the NFL here, did you guys see Ben Johnson turning down the jobs in both Seattle and Washington? Sounds like he was asking for a little too much dough. He will be back with the Lions next season. The report I saw was sources were saying that both teams balked at his request for money.
Counteroffer. Yeah, it was while the Commanders were in the air that Ben Johnson's people reached out to Washington and said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. So
they just kept flying because they were going to interview the defensive coordinator. What's his name?
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, so they still landed and they still interviewed him, but Ben was like, all set, thanks.
That makes the Lions really scary next year, by the way. I don't like the fact that he's sticking with them. College hoops last night, a couple big upsets. Number 3, North Carolina losing to Georgia Tech 74-73 on the road. Fantastic finish in that game. Number 5, Tennessee loses at home 63-59 to unranked South Carolina. The Gamecocks having a hell of a season. And it was a tough night for Aztecs hoops. They fell on the road to Colorado State 79-71. The March Madness resume remains unblemished. That's a quad 1 loss on the road. Not a huge deal metrically. It does stink because they battled back in that second half. They actually took a lead for about 15 seconds in that game. It was 61-60. Lamont Butler seemed like he put everything into that second half comeback, and he was gassed right after they took that lead. And then the last 4 minutes, they fell apart, losing that game 79-71. Lamont Butler also leaving that game with a sprained ankle. His status for Saturday against Utah State, number 1 in the Mountain West, is up in the air. Jaden Ledee, I don't know if you guys saw, he was not himself last night at all. Teams in the Mountain West have kind of figured out how to play him. It's a very physical, every time Jaden touches the ball. He's not getting foul calls anymore, and he missed 4 practices during the bye week with food poisoning. He was not himself.
Right. You know, and that is what happens is once you put tape out there, once you have a strategy that works, people are going to make adjustments, and now it's incumbent upon you to adjust to the adjustments. So the film's out. You have Colorado State with a successful defensive strategy against the Aztecs. And so you got to figure it out in the front court. You got to make it so there is room again for him to be the player that he was to start the season. And look, it wasn't to admonish anything that the Aztecs have done. It wasn't to suggest that I knew or had a premonition as to how this season was going to go. But I remember you pulled back like greatly when I said this season could go one of 2 ways in my mind. And it's not that black and white. There's obviously a lot of gray area between the thing that I'm going to say and then the other thing that I'm going to say. But maybe they can go back to the, Final Four. Maybe it'll be another special season. Or maybe like the Philadelphia Eagles, who made it all the way to the Super Bowl, you have a good season, but you see cracks in the armor. And then all of a sudden you get into the postseason, you get beat by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and people are looking at the situation going, what went wrong? What went wrong is every year you're a different team. Every year it's really difficult to get back to the promised land because the truth is you have to rebuild your culture every single season. It doesn't matter how many carryover players you have. In the case of the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously you have your quarterback. In the case of the Aztecs, Lamont Butler, and a lot of the faces from last year's national championship team are back on the court. But it doesn't matter because every year is a new year. Plus the Mountain West changes. Plus in the case of the Eagles, the NFC East changes, and the NFC and the games you play are different. So you could have injuries. You can have all these different situations. It's really tough to compete and to repeat success. We'll see if the Aztecs can do it this season.
It's like you're building a hamburger, and you made a hamburger last year, and it was beautiful, man. It was perfect. It tasted fantastic. It had everything on it. It had the meat. It had icy cold lettuce and onions and tomatoes and the special sauce and the sesame seed bun. And then you put together that same hamburger this year. In fact, I used even better beef this time, but what's it missing? The special sauce. And you got to figure out how to make that special sauce. So somewhere along the line here, if they can figure it out, if they can create it and then roll into the tournament, then it could be special again.
I think what people often forget is it's not like last year was all roses and peachy heading into the regular season of the Mountain West. Like, they really struggled in Maui last year. That team hit their struggles early on in the season. They hadn't really blended. They hadn't meshed yet. And then they got to the regular season and went on this tear. Well, the Mountain West was not as good last year as it is this year. It is like Lenardi, the most recent bracketology, had 5 teams getting into the NCAA tournament. With the 6th team, it was Colorado State, actually, just outside, who will now be inside. So when you look at the Mountain West, it is a power conference this season with 6 really good teams in it. And in the NCAA tournament, it is rare that the best team in the country going into the NCAA tournament is one of the teams playing at the end of the tournament. Whereas in the NFL, it's not all that rare that the best team all season is the one in the Super Bowl. That's where the comparison kind of
I don't think that's true. There's a lot of times where chalk wins out. I mean, the Final Four is loaded with chalk. In
the NCAA tournament, I think it's rare often that you almost never get 4 number 1, 4 number 2 seeds in the Final Four.
But nor do you in the NFL when you get down to the NFC Championship game. Like it's not always the best teams down the stretch. I mean, the Chiefs were a 3 seed. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, they beat a 1 seed on their way in. The Detroit Lions were they a 2 or a 3 behind Dallas? I forget. I think they were 3. They were 3 too. So that's my point is it gets awfully chalky the closer you get to that game a lot of times. But to repeat that success and
it's damn near impossible.
Well,
it's so tough to win in March Madness. Every single game, things happen that are weird. Like, think about last year, what it took for the Aztecs to actually get to the Final Four and to get to the national championship.
Yeah.
Like, beating Alabama, that was special. You got a performance out of Darion Trammell that he's never played that good in a basketball game before, and he hasn't played that good in a basketball game since. In the Final Four, beating FAU, Lamont Butler hitting that shot. Guess what? That doesn't go in. You talk about the Aztecs playing a bad game in that game.
Yeah.
So when everything is said and done, like the amount of stuff that it actually took to get to a national championship game, there's a chance that never gets repeated in the Aztecs' future. Like, that's a real possibility. They never get to a Final Four. I don't believe that. I certainly think this team is good enough to make just as good of a run. I'd say on paper, this team might be more talented than last year's team.
Well, now you're singing the same argument that I was making to start the season. Like, repeating success is really tough. That's the reason why I bring up the Philadelphia Eagles. Repeating success is really tough.
Yeah, but that was in a stretch where the Eagles had lost 6 out of 7. And I just don't see this team going on a stretch.
It wasn't during they were winning all close games then. They were winning all close games when I said that. And I was saying this doesn't feel right. It feels different. I mean, look, I don't want to play revisionist historian. I remember exactly what I was saying though. And what I was saying is you can win a lot of games. You can win a lot of close games, but there can be problems. And that was the case with the Eagles. I hope, and I still hope, I hoped back then that it wasn't the case for the Aztecs this season, but it can be. You just don't know. So I always caution myself as a fan to not get too far over my skis thinking about last year and comparing it to this year, because last year has no bearing on this year.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way in sports.
Yeah. No, it's 100% true. It's a different team. You're playing different teams. Everything's different.
Yeah.
Huge game on Saturday. Dutcher asked for it in post game to fill up Viejas Arena because Utah State is the number 1 team in the Mountain West right now. They're playing at home. Aztecs need the win. Losing back-to-back in this conference this year could be the thing that would spell doom for you when it comes to the Mountain West regular season championship. So get out to Viejas this weekend. Support the boys. They have had a hell of a year. I mentioned it earlier. No blemishes on their NCAA resume as of right now. Latest bracketology had them as a 6 seed. I wouldn't be surprised if last night would drop them to a 7 seed.
Yeah. And like you said, it helps Colorado State get in, which you don't want to be the reason for it, but it strengthens the overall national perspective of the Mountain West, having that much strength in your conference. So these conference wins become more and more important as the season progresses. Look, this team is still 16-5.
and they haven't lost at home.
No.
And if they hold serve at home this entire season, they're in the tournament no matter what.
Hard to do, but again, awesome home environment at Viejas. 12:30 tip against the Aggies at Viejas this Saturday. Okay, coming up next, we got to get into another, at least on this show, controversial topic. It's a little bit of Brock talk.
This is an old story, though. This came out in like week 2.
No, this is a new story, right?
Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it coming up next. But before we go, got to talk to you about the Good Feet store. Left the NFL after my playing days with a lot of lower body joint pain, lower back pain. I had hip pain that was really coming on strong, knee pain every single day. But then I started wearing these arch supports from the Good Feet store, and a lot of that pain disappeared immediately. And some of it took a little while longer, but I realized after long, I was like, well, wow, the back isn't so sore. And geez, that hip, I guess I should cancel that MRI appointment. And I did. It's really phenomenal what can happen if you just change the way you stand. So I thought I only had one arch, and if it was even an arch, if you could call it that, but apparently we all have 4 arches, and their experts over at the Good Feet store will walk you through how they support your feet using these just slide-in shoe arch supports. You don't have to change your footwear. The arch support changes with your footwear. You leave the store, and all you're tasked to do is just make sure whatever shoes you're wearing that day, work shoe wear, or, sneakers, it doesn't matter. House slippers, if you work from home, you just wear those arch supports all day long, and you will see amazing results. So try before you buy. You walk in at any of the Good Feet stores, and there's plenty of them out there, 200 plus locations around the US and overseas. And these people have 30 plus years of experience doing this. You test them out for yourself, see if they're for you, and you walk out feeling better. That's a promise. It worked for me. All right. The Good Feet store, head to goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com.
Poor Brock Purdy. He's barely scraping by. He can't even pay his rent. We'll explain next.
This update is presented by eBay Motors. We'll begin here with Aztecs hoops. They fall on the road last night to Colorado State 79-71. San Diego State would battle back in the second half to take the lead 61-60, but the boys would run out of gas with about 5 minutes left to close the game. Next up for the Aztecs, they get Utah State at Viejas Arena this Saturday at 12:30. Need to fill up Viejas for that one. It's going to be a huge game. Utah State, number 1 in the Mountain West right now. Sticking with college hoops, couple big upsets last night. Number 3, North Carolina losing to Georgia Tech in North Carolina, 74-73. And number 5, Tennessee last night. That was at Georgia Tech. Tennessee losing at home, 63-59 to South Carolina. That's huge. In the NFL, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson seems to be a lock for the Washington Commanders head coaching job. Then news came down yesterday. Johnson is going to stay with the Lions next season. eBay Motors, here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
Happy Wednesday, guys. Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it on a home day. Make them say, That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Big deal going on today, man. We need your help. Residents of San Diego areas, they've been severely impacted from last week's storm. We got more rain on the way this week. So we literally have thousands of San Diegans who have been displaced. They are in shelters and they don't have some basic needs to piece together their lives. So we're asking for help from 8 to 5 today, right here at the iHeart Studios, 9660 Granite Ridge Drive, right off Arrow in the 15. We're collecting new and gently used clothing, toiletries, and a whole lot more. Again, 8 to 5 today in the parking lot.
So awesome. Really, really great cause. Oh, and by the way, we have added a lot of fun to the tailgate party coming up next Friday. So not this Friday. So don't show up. Actually, show up at KMB Bistro whenever you want. It's awesome.
You got to get their new fried chicken sandwich. It's out of this world good.
So they had it on the menu, and then they took it off, and then they put it back. It's so good.
Well, they had one, and then they tweaked it and put the new one on. The new one is out of this world good.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to go over there. So KMB Bistro in Del Cerro, north on College Avenue off the 8. It is an unbelievable spot. It's this like, you'll see it when you see it. It's like nestled into a corner, awesome patio for sports watching. It's one of our favorite places to go. Keg and Bottle also has a location right there. So you're in the restaurant enjoying your dining, and then as you're leaving, you get to peruse the beer refrigerators and the wine, and then obviously the 25-foot wall of liquor bottles. It's our happy place.
So when my parents come to San Diego, we always go to KMB Bistro for food. My mom really likes it, and then we just kind of walk away and realize 20 minutes later that we left my dad because he's staring at the whiskey section.
Dude, so cool.
He doesn't leave.
He doesn't leave.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Keith Fletcher. Actually, rumor has it he's still there.
Yeah, right.
He never made it back to Merced.
Right. Wouldn't surprise me.
Tony Kanja up on the ladder, just dropping bottles. He's he's very excited to welcome us all in. Sombreros Mexican Food's going to be catering the event. So if you want to come out and grab a breakfast burrito, hang with us for a little bit on your commute to school. We're also going to be giving away a 65-inch TV to celebrate the big game. We're calling it the Big Rich Stadium Fletch Big Game Tailgate. That's right.
So we'll see you out there. That's going to be
lots of big.
Lots of big. Yeah. So 65-inch TV. We've got a whole bunch of other prizes lined up here. Some in the works. Literally right now, wheels are turning.
There is a very special giveaway that I'm pretty sure is going to be confirmed. We can't come to you with it yet, but it is a big one.
Right.
We also have a gift card to go see Dr. Roy David at the Man Zone.
Yep.
All right.
And some swag.
He'll get you tested up for testosterone, find out if you're a candidate. And if you are, they're going to take care of your first month of testosterone treatment over at the Man Zone, just like Uncle Richie.
You guys are going to be so fired up together.
We're going to be doing push-ups in the parking lot. Now, look, it's for everybody. You're all welcome. We goof around on this show, but if you're driving around and you're a mom dropping off your kids, we'd love for you to stop by too. It's a blast.
We already got Joe Moon taking the day off of work to come hang out with us.
I'm talking about.
You're going to hear it live. My gosh.
I can't wait. Listen, and there's so many of you that text in, you call in, you comment on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. We want to meet you.
Yeah, we want to give you a TV.
And also we want to find out if you're willing to be Brock Purdy's roommate because he needs to split rent with you.
Okay, all right.
Everybody wants to play with Brock, but who wants to live with him is important because he's making so little salary.
Okay.
He can barely afford to live in the San Francisco area.
Stupid.
Pump the brakes. He's making $870,000.
Yeah.
Which in San Francisco, that's rent.
What?
I have actually
just under $1 million. He can barely scrape by.
I do have a lot of buddies who live in San Francisco, and guess what? They all live together because coming out of college, even if you're 26, 27 years old, it's really tough to afford rent in San Francisco. Not if you're making $870,000 a year.
Hold on. One of the most expensive places in the country is San Diego.
Yeah.
Yes. So don't tell me how much more money San Francisco is. San Diego is expensive as hell. Hold on.
I know San Diego is considered the most expensive place to live because of the median income and the housing prices, but San Francisco, everything is a little bit more. You just make a little bit more.
So this story came back around. This came out in the offseason. It's like, so this guy just went to the NFC Championship game. He's going to be the starting quarterback next year for the San Francisco 49ers, and he has a roommate, and they're carpooling to practice, and people are like, it's just absurd. It's like, he has to have a roommate. It's like, listen to me very carefully. Brock doesn't need to have a roommate. Brock is choosing to have a roommate. Brock is making, like you said, something near $900,000. He is making He is in the top 1% of this country. But when the NFL reporters talk about it, it's like, this guy is so humble. He's living with a roommate because he can't afford to live anywhere
There's
else.
rumors going around that, I mean, I've seen these videos flying around social media that people started a GoFundMe account
to get him his own place.
Yeah, and they're like, it's raised nearly $500,000. I can't find the GoFundMe account, so I can't confirm that this is true. But you got to be kidding me. Because they're talking about how great the fans are in San Francisco.
Now, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were playing, you made it to the AFC Championship game, you made it to a Super Bowl, but don't players get bonuses every round of the playoffs that get increasingly bigger?
Yeah, so we don't call them bonuses, you call them playoff checks. Like, they have to pay you for work tendered. So
right, because your contract is for the regular season.
It's just for the 17 weeks of the regular season. You literally get paid by game as the season goes on. Well, when the season expires, if you're still playing, they had to come up with a rate that's collectively bargained by the league and the players that makes sense per player to be paid. So don't get me wrong, there are certain guys in the locker room.
How significant is it?
Who get big time pay raises in the postseason because their contract amount doesn't pay them that much weekly, and they get a huge boost in their pay. When I was playing the first round of the postseason, the wild card round was, I believe, 25,000.
And is that everybody on the team gets the same amount?
Everybody on the team gets the same amount. So there's a lot, by the way, there's a lot of players who also get a pay cut when they get to the postseason. Like, because they're getting paid literally $1 million a game or more, in certain cases, a lot more.
Oh.
And so when you get to the postseason, you're getting 25 grand, and so these guys are like, oh, it's a cute check. And meanwhile, there's other people like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, sweet mystery of life, at last I found you.
Pause. Which one were you?
Well, playoff checks were awesome for me because I always signed contracts with signing bonuses, and then I was on vet minimum. So when I got those checks, they were solid checks, So, and by the way, they increase. So the deeper you go into the playoffs, I'm pretty sure championship round it's like 50 grand. I think Super Bowl might be 75,000, and I think the winner gets more in the Super Bowl. It's crazy. The NFL is crazy money. So all these stories coming out about Brock Purdy being broke,
right?
Like, get lost.
Oh, I completely agree. Give me a break.
He's a rich man. He's doing well.
So there was another article of Travis Kelce makes about $11 million a year.
Yeah.
Who is more underpaid, Travis Kelce or Brock Purdy?
I mean,
but do you have to factor in all of Travis Kelce's off the field stuff?
That's that. Yeah. Oh wait, you're talking about that he earns as far as a paycheck?
Yeah,
no. You don't factor that.
No,
in.
I know, but if we're having this conversation,
his financial impact on the Chiefs, because it's his relationship with Taylor Swift. So, like, you could argue that he's grossly underpaid for the whole.
That's what I'm saying.
I would say Travis Kelce might be the most underpaid player in the league because of the money he has brought to the NFL, the money he has brought to the Chiefs.
Oh, we're on the same page.
Okay,
I thought you were trying to say that his $11 million paycheck is actually $100 million a year because of all of his endorsements.
But
he is the most underpaid.
But he earns all that money on the side. But I'm saying the money that he's bringing in is not equitable to the money he's being paid.
1 million %. 1 million %.
Yeah,
by the way, NFL needs to cut Taylor Swift a check.
They probably do.
That may have happened already.
Honestly, it probably did. All right, coming up next, we'll get into this storyline. If something's telling you to bet on a potential Super Bowl MVP, maybe a gut feeling, should you listen to it? And we'll get into that next. But first, I want to talk to you guys about really a sensitive subject, something that I don't often divulge. If you listen to the show,
whatever.
I've been
Fatty,
very struggling with this for a long time, and it's finally
what size is your bra?
Come to pass that
it's a bro
did something about it, and it's a man's ear. And
do you wear Skims?
And I wear Skims. I got with SDFatLoss.com. So yeah, I mean, we were all in the hurt box in terms of being big old fatsos. And when we met Wayne and Chloe over at SDFatLoss.com, we kind of almost jokingly started working with them. Like, yeah, good luck, idiots. And you know what they did? They were like, no, you three are the idiots because you have no idea how easy this is and how much you've been screwing it up by not listening to good advice and following a lot of bad advice, including your own, which they quickly fixed. We, within the first week of the program with them, lost 10 pounds apiece. By week 3, Fletch was down over 25 pounds. I was nearing 30. TD was 19 pounds down. Like by week 3, I think we had lost close to, if not over 60 pounds cumulatively.
Yeah.
And it just kept on going. So you do the reduction phase. We're, for the most part, now in the maintenance phase. It's really phenomenal. And you're able to keep the weight off because it's not just a diet plan, it's a lifestyle change. Wayne and Chloe at SD Fat Loss are awesome. That, look, you're going to read a lot of ads, or you're going to hear a lot of other people talking about a lot of other weight loss ideas. Prescription drugs have become really popular, using them off label to suppress your appetite. Yo-yo dieting occurs where you lose all the weight, you gain it right back as soon as you're off the prescription drug. We don't suggest that. We suggest you reach out to our good friends over at sdfatloss.com, and that's what they become. Wayne and Chloe have become good friends of ours. And they're really miracle workers. We've heard it from our listeners who have signed up with sdfatloss.com. When you do, tell them we sent you. That's sdfatloss.com. And now we take a deep dive into Super Bowl conspiracy theories. Well, actually, we'll do it in 2 minutes. We have a huge tailgate coming up. You could say it is a big game tailgate, and you'd be right. So the big game tailgate, is going to be kicking off on the Friday before the big game.
Yeah,
I think everybody understands that.
Yeah.
So Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, we're taking the show on the road for the first time since we've come together as a show. We're super excited about this. Anybody who has ever listened to this show over the course of time we've been on the air together understands our affinity for the hangers, the bangers, the roadies, the dogs, the people who have been with us from the start, and those who have jumped on later on. We love you all. We want to meet you all. So again, Del Cerro location, Can-Be Bistro, right off of the 8 College Avenue North. You can't miss it, and it is going to be a blast. Tons of great prizes to give away. A 65-inch television is on the list. We're going to get you a free treatment to the Man Zone, your first month of testosterone treatment if you're a candidate for one of our listeners. That's going to be awesome. We're going to have other great prizes catered by Sombreros Mexican Food. Tony Conja, Keg and Bottle owner, is going to be providing a Bar Cart Friday to remember. It's going to be amazing.
Paris, Peter, Jeremy, Joe Moon, all already confirming taking the day off to
Love
come hang out with us. We're not asking you to take the whole day off of work.
No, you don't have
but
to.
we certainly do appreciate it.
But we are asking Carolyn to get on a plane.
Yeah, come on, Carolyn. But if you could stop by on your way to work, we'd love to hang out with you. You just got to stop by, drop off a raffle ticket. Hey, if you win the TV, we're going to drop it off at your front door for you. So
That's right. That's right.
Swing by on your way to work. Come
That's right.
say hi. Give us a fist bump. You could rub TD's belly if you want, and we'll just hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
raining, by the way,
I don't
with
know
the
if I signed up for
65-inch
that,
TV,
but I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give him a quick rub. Maybe his inner thigh. He
Right,
really
right.
loves that. He actually makes this weird noise when you do it. We wouldn't.
And his leg twitches a lot.
Kicks his leg like a happy dog.
If it's raining, one, it's not supposed to rain next week, so that's good news. Two, if it is raining, we got a van.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good point.
Yeah, we got a van.
I forgot about the van. Actually, we should probably
It is
bring the
supposed to-
van.
It is supposed to rain next week, but not next Friday.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank goodness for
Right,
that.
well, that's what I meant.
Okay. So, do you guys believe in conspiracy theories?
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it
Yeah.
does feel like the world is conspiring to make certain
Mhm.
outcomes happen.
Mhm.
Would you say that the Chiefs need to win the Super Bowl?
No.
Wait, why though? Well, because you're a San Francisco 49ers fan. I should have known.
I mean, do they need to win?
The NFL already
yeah.
got what they want. She's gonna be at the game.
hang on.
They don't need to win.
But are you saying they need to win because there's about a 25% increase in fan base that may go away if they don't win?
Okay, so after that Chiefs Bears game where Swift showed up at the stadium in Arrowhead, they realized the next day that the numbers released showing a broadcast that drew 63% more women ages 18 to 49 than in the previous week's game. And those numbers only continue to climb. My point is this. My wife loves rom-coms. My wife loves rom-coms because they all have happy endings.
Mhm.
They go through a little trough at some point, just like the Chiefs did during the regular season, and then everybody, the storylines come together,
Right.
and it turns out they were in love the whole time. They just didn't realize it. And so this has to have the romantic comedy ending for the ladies who have jumped on board for the Taylor Swift train.
Yeah.
But there's usually a villain in these stories. His name is Brock. He wears number 13. He splits an apartment in San Francisco, and he's coming to ruin the day
no
to set
way.
up the sequel.
That's
To set up the
not-
sequel.
that's
To set up the
not
sequel.
Hollywood
We gotta
happy
drag this
ending.
thing out, man. If you want to go conspiracy, you want to drag it out into next year.
13 is Taylor Swift's favorite number,
Yeah,
so I think
it's
that
about to
nullifies
What? Yeah.
Brock Purdy.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Also, there's a lot of red in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Niners are
Taylor
wearing white.
Swift red.
Yeah, the red lipstick. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't she have an album called Red?
She did.
Jesus. It's all coming together, guys. All right, listen,
Wow.
coming up next, we're going to get into our morning monologues. Also, we're going to get a check-in from Lucinda Kay, who's going to be in the parking lot at our clothing drive here at iHeart San Diego, and a little red pill, blue pill. But first, TD, what are you busy with?
Well, I'm busy with DraftKings, all right? Setting up my fantasy team here. And in fact, last weekend, I won $50 picking two. But hey, DraftKings, the leader in fantasy sports, just dropped a brand new fantasy app, Pick Six. Now, Pick Six is the newest way for you to get in on the fantasy football action with DraftKings. And getting started is easy. Just download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and sign up using code SD760. Just pick between 2 and 6 NFL players and choose if they're going to have more or less of a stat. For example, will a player have more or less than 100 rushing yards? Or will a player have more than 1 touchdown? You can track your lineup and compete against others for a shot at huge cash prizes. It's fun. It's easy. Even my wife likes to get in on the action here. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and sign up with code SD760. That's code SD760 only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Approved local P6 states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Valid only in states where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. For up-to-date list of states, please visit dkng.co/pick6 states. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
This update is presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Tough night for Aztecs. They fall on the road to Colorado State 79-71. San Diego State actually battled back in the second half. They took the lead 61-60, but the boys would run out of gas to close the game. Next up for San Diego State, Utah State at Viejas Arena this Saturday, 12:30. Huge game for the boys. Get out to Viejas. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. And guys, we have a pair of tickets to give away to that game on the show today.
Yeah.
Keep listening to win. Sticking with college hoops, couple big upsets last night. Number 3, North Carolina loses to Georgia Tech 74-73 on the road. Number 5, Tennessee losing at home last night 63-59 to unranked South Carolina. The Gamecocks having a hell of a year. I believe they're 18-3 now. In the NFL, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson seemed to be a lock for the Washington Commanders head coaching job. Then news came down yesterday. Johnson is going to stay with the Lions next year. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. And yeah, that was the voice of Matt Friend doing his Donald Trump impression.
That wasn't the Don?
You thought it was the Don?
That was your favorite president, Donald John Trump.
He called me TV.
It's Big Rich, TV, and Fletch. And let me tell you, it's not that big.
Better than TB, I guess.
Yeah, that's the red lung. You don't want that. Big Rich, TD, Fletch with you. Okay, so a couple of updates here. We're reminding everybody who is getting their day started, if you can, put together a little pack, socks, clothes that don't fit anymore, items around the house that have been gently used, like toiletries, things like that. Anything that you think a flood victim might need if they're displaced, you should bring it down to 9660 Granite Ridge Drive, because we're doing this from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock right here in the parking lot, helping out residents of San Diego who got really their lives turned upside down because of the flooding a week ago. And we're expecting a lot more rain coming up this week. So that could really be helpful for a lot of your neighbors in need. So help us out there. Also,
gently used clothing, not gently used toiletries.
yeah. Don't give it. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. Like, don't bring. Hang on. Hey, wait.
You saying?
Like, don't bring in like a half a stick of deodorant with like one of those curly hairs on it. Like, nobody needs that at the shelter. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's gonna
Curly
be some
hairs.
Yeah. Can you imagine like
your deodorant?
I mean, what do you? You know exactly. Like in the pits.
Sure.
Every once in a while, I get one of those little curly hairs.
Yeah.
Speaking of in the pit, 619 foul mouth carry will be at the big game.
Yes. Wow. Well,
Also,
we're gonna have to have J-Riff on the dump button.
Yeah, that
here.
sensor button's got to be ready to go. 913 TD, you wearing your lizard costume to the big game tailgate? I will be there, and I've been there since day one, boys. That's 913. I believe that's Jeremy. Thank you,
love
buddy.
Love that guy. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can.
Hey, I gotta start with this, and we'll get to our morning monologues in just a little bit. Oh, by the way, we're giving away Doobie Brothers tickets today. We haven't even mentioned with Aztecs tickets. So Doobie Brothers coming up in June, Aztecs coming up this weekend against Utah State. So if you want to win those tickets, just hang tight. We're going to be giving those away very soon. But I wanted to get to this story. So a clip of Justin Tucker went viral over the weekend, right before the Ravens-Chiefs game kicked off, the AFC Championship game. Justin Tucker, the kicker, longtime kicker with the Baltimore Ravens, one of the best in the NFL, in the history of the NFL. He'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. There was a video from the Chiefs end zone warming up before the game. Justin Tucker is camped out right at like the 2-yard line.
Right.
He's stretching. He's got his helmet, some kicking balls, a kicking tee, in the way of Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and some pregame drills that you do. You have like a little throw with the receivers. So Travis Kelce in this video walks over, grabs the kicking tee, chucks it, grabs the balls, chuck it, grabs his helmet, chucks it, and makes room for Patrick Mahomes to get into his drop back and stuff like this. Apparently, before the game, Patrick Mahomes asked him to move, and he moved his helmet a couple of inches. There was this back and forth on Twitter, like Justin Tucker's doing nothing wrong. I can tell you, and I put out a tweet as soon as I saw this video, for sure, that his goal was to antagonize the Kansas City Chiefs.
How would it not be? You're the only Baltimore player over on the KC side warming up. I mean, you're clearly there to mess with them, which, I mean, I'm fine with that. Go mess with them. I don't care. But guess what? If they mess with you back, that's the game, baby.
It's how it goes.
Yeah.
How it goes. So Justin Tucker, he came out during his exit interviews, I guess you could say his final interview of the season, in front of his locker when he's packing things up on the last day of the season for the Ravens, which is the day after the football game. And he goes, he's like, I don't know. I've been doing the same thing for over a decade, just setting myself up and stretching a little bit and kicking some field goals. And then all of a sudden these bullies just came over and I guess they were annoyed by it. I mean, that was not my thought process at all. I was not trying to antagonize at all.
By the way, your team is 70 yards away.
Now, it is common for kickers to kick on both the uprights. I've seen it every single game. Every single team allows for it. But it is very different warming up on your side of the field and then coming down to your opponent's side of the field, kicking a couple of field goals, and then getting out of there, as opposed to camping out at your opponent's 2-yard line, doing just a couple of hamstring stretches and sumo squats.
Yeah, exactly. I got to do some yoga poses down here while my helmet and balls are in the end zone underneath Patrick Mahomes' feet.
So Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes said that kicker Justin Tucker was trying to get under his skin. He was like, look, I've had 7 years of doing that same warm-up routine. It's only been like 3 occasions where there's been a kicker that wasn't, moving out of our way. He was on the radio talking to the sports station out there, 610 Sports Radio in Kansas City. He said, in Baltimore, it was all 3 times. So
Gotcha.
Justin Tucker is the guilty party here. Actually, it's funny. Fletch is in and out of the room right now, the production studio, because he's setting up a remote broadcast. We're going to hear from the parking lot with this clothing drive that we have going on over here at iHeart San Diego that kicks off at 8. But it was Robbie Gould who famously did this a lot during his time as a kicker. And for the 49ers, there were times where pregame warmups were about to end. Like, he would be in Dallas as the cheerleaders were lining up down the middle of the field to welcome in the players, and he's still bombing 40-yard field goals over their heads.
I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with messing around. I'm fine with the smack talk. You know what? I don't mind most of the taunting that happens or the celebrations after a touchdown. I don't mind it. I think it's part of the game. I think it's part of the fun. And when you're out there playing backyard ball, when you're a kid, you're out there talking smack. That's part of the game. But I mean, to be flabbergasted that I can't believe that they tossed my helmet aside.
Yeah, Mahomes goes, he does it to get under our skin. He's like, I asked him to move his stuff. He got up and moved it, I think 2 inches, but did not move it out of the way. I was going to let it slide, but Travis moved it for me after that. And I wasn't going to let him put it back down. I have a lot of respect for him as a player, blah, 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 blah. He went into all the pleasantries. But the reality of the situation is, look, this is football. There are grown men on the field who are all alphas. Even Justin Tucker, who's a kicker, who I would not trust in a fight with Annie Ornberger.
Annie would kick his ass.
I'm backing Annie in a big way there. But Justin Tucker, he's still an alpha. He still thinks who he is, and he's out there trying to lift his leg and pee on the goalpost a little bit. All right, TD, we do it every day. What do you got for us?
Well, something that's not talked about in America. I don't know if it's taboo.
Okay.
But it's just, I don't hear anyone saying this. When you eat a burrito, especially in the car, right? And you have a burrito blowout.
Yeah. Oh, out the bottom.
Out the bottom.
Yeah.
Or maybe you go, you go to Chipotle.
Yep.
Or a Qdoba where it's wrapped in foil.
Love their queso.
Yeah, love their queso.
Golly.
Love their queso. But sometimes they put so much in those things that the side splits, right? Check this out. When you go to Starbucks and they put one of those sleeves on the thing, right, to keep you from getting too hot on your hand. What if you put a bottom on it, somewhat like a cup? Okay, Sharks. I am creating the burrito wrapper. Okay, you slide this thing on, your burrito blows out while you're eating it, then you just grab a fork. It's already contained in the burrito wrapper.
I love this idea.
Thank you.
I love this idea so much. I'm going to ask you to consider this. The Rito Wrapper is a great name, by the way.
Thank you very much. And you know what? If this comes up on an old All in the Family, my mind's going to be blown. But that's neither here nor there. Rito Wrapper.
But what it says to me, what it reads to me is koozie. Like it's a burrito koozie.
It's a burrito koozie.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know what?
Yeah.
If it was insulated, now your burrito's staying warm.
So there's a guy on TikTok who I need to get you in touch with because he makes burrito accessories.
Does he make a Rito Wrapper?
Not yet. But what he does, he makes a hot sauce dispenser for inside the burrito.
Oh, I've seen this.
And it's a 3D printed thing. You can stick it into the burrito, and then you pour the hot sauce into the thing, and it evenly distributes the hot sauce throughout the entire burrito.
So it's actually the tip of it. Actually, nothing comes out.
Wow.
It all pours out the side.
Had like 300 prototypes of this thing. He takes it seriously.
Hold on. Couldn't he have gotten the Myron Mixon double pole injector?
See, but it would be like a double pump injector, air pump. What does he call that thing? Oh, whatever. Trigger pull injector.
Yeah. Trigger pull.
So it would be like if that had 10 stems coming off of it.
Got it.
Right. So it's like a Christmas tree of hot sauce.
So you're just putting one time into the burrito, boom,
just giving a quick
pump it up,
and it's ready to roll. It distributes throughout the entire
Got
thing.
it.
But
what if you ordered the burrito though and said, "Can you put hot sauce on it before you wrap it up?"
Oh my gosh.
That ruins the purpose of his venture.
Okay. Also, if I'm in the car and I use my my burrito injector, when I pull out the injector, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Where do I set that thing?
I don't know, but this whole idea is so good. And you could even make reusable ones with handles.
That's what I'm saying. Stanley?
Yeah, boy. Let's get in touch, Stanley. We know that you're in the hurt box right now. For other reasons. Okay. My monologue is pretty simple here, guys. Just enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy it while it lasts. We have 2 weeks left. We have 11 days left before the 2023 NFL season finally comes to a halt. I mean, we were discussing it earlier this morning. We've seen so much. I mean, we've seen Aaron Rodgers run out with the American flag on 9/11. 4 plays later, tears his Achilles. We've seen the rise of Tommy DeVito. We've seen Dan Campbell successfully biting all those kneecaps that he promised to bite. He did cry a lot. Head coach of the Lions. What else did we see? I mean, we've seen so much. Brock Purdy, the ascension of Brock Purdy,
Stroud.
The crumbling of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys are sticking with Mike McCarthy. Go boys.
CJ Stroud, Joe Flacco.
Dude, I mean, Joe Flacco.
Come on, Joe Flacco.
I'm telling you, sop it up with a biscuit. I know a lot of people, especially during the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, you're thinking to yourself, like, I might be a little NFL'd out. Yeah, you feel that way. And then guess what? Then it's gone. And it ain't
real dark, real fast.
And it ain't coming back until the preseason kicks off again. That's my morning monologue. What do you got for us, Fletch?
Big Steak Jake.
Big Steak Jake.
Big Steak Jake.
Dude, we forgot about Jake Browning.
Big Steak Jake.
And his wife or girlfriend or fiance in that unitard. You remember she wore the ski suit?
Yeah, she was going skiing right after the game.
2023-24 was the year of the NFL.
Boy, I wish that we could have seen video of her skiing after the game.
You'd probably have to pay for that.
I guess. Does she have an OF? Anyways.
Have we fueled up the helicopter, by the way?
Oh, it's fueled up.
Okay. Good. Want to make sure.
You guys indulge me. I sat down this morning and I wrote a little poem.
Yeah.
Inspired by Jonas Knox, a take he had this morning.
Okay.
Wow.
Can I read it?
Is it a sonnet? Is it a haiku? Is it what do they call it? Ionic pentameter?
I don't know. It rhymes.
Okay.
So it's a poem.
It's a rhymey.
Okay.
It's a Seuss.
Please allow me.
Is it a limerick?
Jordan and LeBron, the great debate. From Cowherd to Maller, we've all had a take. Jordan won 6, LeBron has won 4. When it comes to full seasons, LeBron played 6 more. But this morning I heard an argument from Jonas Knox, Fox Sports Radio's Clark Kent, that during Michael's time as the best on the planet, the only dynasty to exist was the Chicago Bulls, damn it. But during LeBron's reign as quote unquote the king, the Warriors of the West rose up to win 4 rings. Now, as you all know, the NBA is crap, but there is some validity to this argument. I say no cap.
Wow.
Jonas Knox brought this up, and I never thought about it before.
Wait, was that the end of the poem?
Yeah, that's it.
When
When Jordan was the king of the NBA, and when this debate goes on over and over again, no one ever talks about the fact that when Jordan was there, he was the only thing there. Like, Jordan did not allow another dynasty to rise up. During LeBron's reign as king, there's been another dynasty rise and fall.
Okay,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
There's some truth to the
No cap.
dominance. No cap.
No cap.
There's some truth to the dominance that like the Bulls had in the 90s, the Cowboys had in the 90s in the NFL, the Patriots have for 2 decades in the NFL. What other dynasties were there? I mean, truly, you could argue that the Warriors were more of a dynasty because LeBron isn't his own team.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
LeBron James is a player. He's not a team. So,
Right.
we're talking about him being the king for obvious reasons. He's now won championships with 3 separate franchises. He has 4 rings. That's amazing. But. Hopscotching around the league, winning championships.
I've never looked at LeBron as a dynasty before.
Yeah.
That's never even popped up.
Yeah, so it does
So
make
you look
sense.
at Jordan like a dynasty.
Oh, well, you do, but
I look at the Bulls
the Bulls.
as the dynasty.
You say
I
the
don't-
90s Bulls.
Yeah, and by the way,
Jordan Bulls.
Yeah, Jordan, well, while he was winning, was with the Bulls.
And you could say that like Steph Curry is more of a dynasty than LeBron James.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
digress.
All
Okay.
right, our news chopper is here.
Good.
Lucinda K's on the ground. Guys,
Wow.
you want to set this up?
Look,
Okay.
Lucinda K's in the air.
She's in
That's
the
true.
air. So 600 Kogo News, Lucinda K, anchor reporter, one of the good friends of this year's program, is going to give us a live update from iHeart San Diego. She is hovering some 100 feet above the building. Lucinda.
It's fine.
Lucinda!
Hey, heads up! Yeah, what's How we doing out there? We're doing some good. This is what I think you would call a joy moment. Am I wrong, Lucinda? Hey.
Yeah, Lucinda, we've been talking about it for the past couple of days, all morning, looking forward to this great event. As you are hovering over the parking lot now, do you worry that the chopper blades are disrupting setup as our team here at iHeart San Diego is feverishly getting the parking lot ready to accept all these donations, or are you guys high enough above that you're not going to interfere with all of that? Good. Excellent. Lucinda, awesome stuff. We'll check in with you later on as people start driving up with their donations. And you got it. There she goes. Lucinda K, 600 Kogo News reporter, anchor, and star of that news broadcast. The deal is this: 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. Any of your lightly used clothing, anything that your kids have thrown out of, you don't like anymore, there will be somebody who likes it that needs it. I promise you. There's a lot of people who have been devastated by these storms from a week ago. So anything, Fletch has a blanket that he's donating today. We've got a bag of goods that I have to go and bring back to the station. It's a real thing, and we have more rain. We have a Pineapple Express that's coming bearing down on San Diego.
Is that true?
Yeah.
How much weed can one city smoke?
It's not that kind of Pineapple Express.
Well, and also, it sounded like we were going to drink one of those on a Bar Card Friday. So,
my gosh.
I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Not a bad deal, except when it dumps like torrential downpours.
Then it's not great.
Then it's not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anything you can give, we'd appreciate it. 9660 Granite Ridge Drive over here at iHeart San Diego. We're going to get into a little red pill, blue pill. We're going to force you to make decisions that you may not want to make, especially regarding sports. But first, talk to us about your picks, Fletch.
Opportunities are present. Let me ask you this, Rich. One sec before you leave. One sec, Richie.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think that Patrick Mahomes will throw for more than one passing yard in the big game?
I would argue yes,
Like
more than one
Then
yard.
you got a big opportunity because right now you can create a prize picks entry with more or less than on Patrick Mahomes of 0.5 yards. So if he throws for 1 yard in this game, Patrick Mahomes will secure you the bag. That's what I'm talking about. Prize Picks, prizepicks.com/Fletch, prizepicks.com/Fletch. You will get a first deposit match up to $100. And like I said, for the big game, Prize Picks is throwing out a big promotion. Patrick Mahomes, more or less than 0.5 passing yards. I think you can probably pretty confidently say more. Big game coming up, big promotions coming up. Last night was Taco Tuesday. Friday is going to be Flex Friday, where you get a risk-free entry into the pick'ems. So all you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You can watch the winnings start to roll in. And again, if you use that promo code Fletch on either the app or the website, Prize Picks, you are going to get a $100 first deposit match if you deposit $100. With the basketball season in full swing, football's big game coming up. You can pick some combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League. That means like Patrick Mahomes and LeBron James are in the same entry, and it's cool. They're the only ones that do that. Prize Picks even offering a reboot policy so that your entries can stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half, doesn't return in the second, that player can be rebooted. Prize Picks, the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Prize Picks is super simple to play. I can make my pick, submit my entry in less than 60 seconds, and it only takes about 60 seconds to sign up. So when we're talking about Prize Picks, you can get it going and submit your first entry in about 2 minutes. Prize Picks even offering Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football and basketball season. Get on over to prizepicks.com, use promo code Fletch, get a first deposit match up to $100, or download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch, get a first deposit match up to $100, and start playing again. Patrick Mahomes, more or less than 0.5 passing yards in the big game. I think you know what that's going to be. All right, coming up next, we more of this craziness on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and we tell you some more surprises that are going to be coming to the big game tailgate coming up next Friday.
Coming up, we're going to corner you into making a choice. That's right. It's red pill, blue pill in 2 minutes.
This update is presented by the Jim Patrol Real Estate Team. Starting off here with Aztecs hoops. They fall on the road last night to Colorado State 79-71. San Diego State would battle back in the second half. They actually took the lead 61-60, but the boys would run out of gas there to close the game. Next up for the Aztecs, they get Utah State at Viejas Arena this Saturday at 12:30. We do have a pair of tickets coming up in just a little bit for you. Sticking with college hoops, a couple big upsets last night. Number 3, North Carolina losing to Georgia Tech 74-73 on the road. And number 5, Tennessee last night at home, 63-59 final scores. They lose to South Carolina. In the NFL, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson seemed to be a lock for the Washington Commanders head coaching job. Then news broke yesterday that Johnson is going to stay with the Lions to be their OC next year. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
I'd say that's accurate.
That one really hit me hard. There are certain things that we talk about in break that we will never speak about on air, and that was one of them.
Maybe Kid Rock.
Yeah. Hang on, let me see the picture again. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
TD just knows how to time it to where it's right before you open your mouth.
Join us for the big tailgate party. Big Rich, TD, Fletch. The big game tailgate party is happening at KMB Bistro. That's going to be next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday at KMB Bistro in Del Cerro, just north on College Avenue, right off the 8. You are going to enjoy Sombrero's Mexican Food catering the event. You're going to enjoy the soothing sounds of our baritone voices bellowing from the bar. You're going to enjoy Bar Cart Friday with the boys.
That's right, baby.
We're gonna hang with the hangers, the bangers, the roadies, the dogs. We're gonna be out there. We're men of the people.
That's
we
right.
want to be amongst the people.
We did get a text asking if I Heart Cool Guy was going to come, and I kind of want to invite him.
Can we do that?
I just ran into him in the coffee
So
room,
did I.
and he makes me nervous.
Yo, time the same way. It's like
It's like sneaky ripped.
Well, Yeah. But it's like when you're in high school and you have like a crush on somebody. It's that same feeling. Like I don't know what to say around
Well,
you.
maybe that's the feeling you have about him. I don't get that.
Yeah. What were you talking
coming up on the show today? Your opportunity to win some Doobie Brother tickets.
Yeah, we got Doobie Brothers. We got Aztecs tickets. They're going to take on the Utah State Aggies this weekend, Saturday. That Doobie Brothers concert coming up in June at Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. Live Nation for more information there.
You guys want to do a pair this hour?
Yeah.
I'd say let's do a pair in 7 minutes.
Okay, it's within 7 minutes.
Within 7 minutes, we'll tell you exactly how you'll win those. Okay, but first we got to do a little red pill, blue pill. We do it every single Wednesday. We've never missed.
Yeah.
Give me a genre of music you guys would like for this, because I can't use the song.
Can you give me inquisitive music? Just type in inquisitive music on YouTube.
There's actually a category that's game show
or game show.
Yeah, which, but I don't know. I'm assuming there's something that's inquisitive in game show.
Yeah. Inquisitive.
If not, lo-fi hip hop.
Okay,
that's it.
Let me lead you guys off with a
is that
soft
an actual
one.
category?
Lo-fi hip hop?
I don't see that
one. Low fidelity. Red pill. Real high. You got to stick with one for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you get one.
Red pill. Real Housewives of OC. Blue pill. Real House.
Gosh, I don't know who put this one in here, but it's a toughie for me.
I think you're the one who put it in.
Okay. So see, because I do like the OGs from the OC. Okay, but pretty fun. Okay, I think I'm going. Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. I think I'm going blue pill on this.
You're going blue pill. You're going
Salt Lake City. I like Salt Lake City.
Listen, I'm torn. I've got family who lives in OC. I've been there actually tons of times. A lot of good memories in Orange County. But here's the deal: Salt Lake City, ever since being introduced to Zach Wilson's mom, like I am so fascinated with the culture in Utah. Yeah, yeah, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm taking the blue pill.
Wow. What's a little embarrassing about this is I'm actually caught up on both.
I've never seen a single episode.
Housewives, and I did like that show a lot. Salt Lake City had this crazy Housewives. That's what I thought ever this past season. That reunion was nuts.
Off the chart. I need more reunion shows, by the way. 3's not enough.
Salt Lake City.
Wow, it's 3 blue pills.
3 blue pills.
I've never even seen it before.
We should have a watch party.
I'm in. Hello. Next 10 seasons, I just thought I was listening to Fletch talk. So I'm speaking this. Next 10 seasons, you got to choose one quarterback.
Don't do this to me.
Red pill, Brock Purdy. Blue pill, Patrick Mahomes.
Don't do that.
You can't abstain. Wait, hold on. Patrick.
We got also remember here. This is 7 seasons in now for Patty Mahomes.
He's no chicken.
Brock Purdy. Afford his rent.
Splitting rent with a roommate.
Okay, that actually comes into account. Patrick Mahomes' salary cap.
Oh, yeah, you're getting way too deep into this.
Right off the bat. Literally, it's for me. Is that what you're saying? This quarterback is the Niners for the next 10 seasons.
It's the quarterback you trust the most for the next 10 seasons. The Niners could take Patrick Mahomes.
Wow. Do you think Brock the dog heard that? Oh,
okay. Would we rename him Patrick and Pat Mahomes?
I think I named him Jackson.
Oh my God! You name him after the brother. Jackson Mahomes. Jackson Mahomes, Fletcher, my Cocker Spaniel. All right.
Okay. He's not a Cocker Spaniel. No.
The Mexican street dog.
The Orioles sold for $1.725 billion.
Did not see it.
Yeah. So private equity firm. Check out Red Pill. You buy the Orioles for $1.7 billion. For Blue Pill, you buy the Eclipse Super Yacht for $1.7 billion.
Okay. Now the yacht, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I put the link in there if you want to look at the yacht.
But it's also super fun to own a team. Like if you're going to buy the team with the boys. Can you imagine? You have like
But
80.
not
I know.
on the yacht.
Hang on, follow me here. So you got the yacht.
It's magnificent. I'm looking at the interior right now. Like, it's stupid how nice this thing
Okay,
is.
but okay, follow me here though. If you want to take out the yacht, I got to go to Annie and be like, I'm taking out the yacht again. He was like, what are you doing? She's like, you took that out last weekend. Plus you up all over the shit.
Wait. If you own the Eclipse Super Yacht, you're going home.
Good point. So I guess you could just the yacht. I mean, it's like, at least with the Orioles, I could just pretend like I'm working. You got the swimming pool in the yacht.
Not even you're well off. You're going with the yacht.
No, you only have 1.7 mil.
That's it. You can't even afford to use it. Because like docking fees are going to be like $1 million for that.
You know how I looked it up? You know how much it costs just to operate and store this thing?
$10 million a year. Holy smoke!
$20
$1 million a year. Staff. You probably have to have full-time chef, full-time captain.
I get to tell my wife 80 times a year. I'm sorry. And she's like, you mean you're getting drunk at the ball game? No, it's work. I own the Orioles.
I've seen owners of Orioles be very sad. I've never seen an owner of a yacht. That's also true.
Oh no, dude! Any boat owner will tell you the best day, the 2 best days of owning a boat is day by the day.
Yep. You know what boat stands for?
That's out another 1,000.
Yeah, I don't know about a super yacht though.
Another oh my!
Yeah,
All right.
actually, I think the blue pill. Look at that damn yacht.
I'm going red pill. I want to own the Orioles.
I
What
want
about
to dress
you?
like a sailor.
Okay. Okay. I know. But yeah, how fun would it be if I was the owner of the Orioles and you guys were just like, yeah, here you go, our yacht. I'm just like, if you want a yacht, you're just a normal guy. You're the owner of the Orioles. I got to just call you guys up and be like, hey, just call your wives. I'm getting you all sweet. Come out to the
Yes,
game.
you're overlooking the fact that it's the Orioles. Like
I
other
know.
teams across the league, there's a conversation we have between yacht and team. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about the owner of us, because not only am I super rich, but I live in San Diego.
I do like the Orioles mascot. I think it's a cool hat. However,
I think I'm Chris Davis for like 10 more years.
I need to put on this mustache before we no. Red pill, pro bowl, blue pill, professional tag. What would you rather watch? Tag. Blue pill all day. Okay, that was easy. We're all blue pill.
Professional tag in the Pro Bowl.
You have one good thing in this hand, and you have another good thing in this hand.
And then what is that a lot?
Okay. Best Super Bowl appetizer. Red pill, nachos. Blue pill, chicken wings. You can only have one for the rest of your life. Super Bowl appetizer. Red pill, nachos.
Not just for Super Bowl, only for the rest. I can't ever touch a chicken wing or a nacho.
No. Just when you're enjoying the Super Bowl, you will never be able to have nachos again. Chicken wings, depending on which one you choose. Oh, you mean the
little
pigs and
No. Yeah. And and just boom with the toothpick. Wow. Yeah, and not quite as messy. Although Will Smokey's not messy.
I don't think there's been a Super Bowl that I'm gonna go blue pill. I mean, I used to not be different. Oh, okay, so check this out. How about this tomorrow? And this is off the top of my head. Could we come in tomorrow and do a little Super Bowl appetizer cook-off? Is that cool with you guys?
Wait, well, you want to do some cooking in studio?
In studio, in 1 hour, we make our best appetizers.
But then, are people voting on this?
Yeah, maybe we'll post pictures. We'll do a 24-hour poll.
I like it. Okay, I like it.
All right. Yeah. All right, so there we go. Tomorrow, coming up tomorrow, we just figured out what we're doing tomorrow. Coming up tomorrow, Big Red TV and Fletch, we're having a Super Bowl cook-off.
Wait, are we only allowed to use whatever we can make it here in the studio with, or do we make it at home and bring it in?
Maybe like if there's some assembly required. Okay. All right. All right. We'll do it. All right. Coming up next, what does Fox do? We've always discussed what does the fox say, but what does Fox?
What does the fox say?
That's next. Coming up next, what does the fox do? That's on the other side. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, it is time to remind everybody out there that we are just minutes away from opening up shop here at 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. Residents of San Diego who have been affected by the storms last week, the flooding that occurred, many people displaced, many people lost their homes, lost their cars, a lot of people living in shelters, and these shelters and these people need your help. So clothing, lightly used, blankets, toiletries, anything that you can bring in to provide for this, a quick donation on your way to work or after you drop off the kids or something like that, will really go a long way. And we have more storms coming up later this week, more rain, I should say, coming up later this week. So this was a pretty severe situation, and a lot of people still reeling from the after effects. So right here at iHeart San Diego is where you show up and donate those goods. So did you, oh, wait, what do you, you're so distracted right now.
Because we started talking about having a Super Bowl app contest. I could say that. It's not money related.
But I think it's promoting something, so I don't think you can.
Well, I don't know. Okay, sorry. The Big Game app contest.
Yeah.
For the big game. And so I looked up what are some big game appetizers, and I found this giant list, and one of them says, forget charcuterie. Your newest obsession is going to be a French fry board.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just all kinds of different fries.
So crinkle cut. You've
Can someone
got
do that?
Yeah.
seasoned curly fries. You got wedge fries.
You got
Waffle?
you got steak fry. Yeah, I mean, you could put them on there. There's sweet potato. There's come on. Garlic, whatever,
and
Parmesan.
then all the different sauces. So then you go, maybe you want to dip in honey mustard. Maybe you want to dip in Chick-fil-A sauce. Maybe you want to dip in ketchup.
Chipotle mayo?
Man,
Chipotle mayo. An aioli of some sort.
Never stops.
Truffle aioli.
Wow.
All right, guys. So the NFC Championship game, it had an unbelievable amount of viewers, but the AFC Championship game had almost 55.5 million viewers.
That's crazy.
I mean, the numbers that are going on right now in the NFL are off the charts. This is the most ever watched championship game in the history of the NFL. It's a 17% increase over last year's comparable window, which featured the quarterback free, eventually 49ers losing to the Eagles. But this is just enormous numbers. Nobody's doing numbers like this. The problem for Fox, though, looking at the NFC Championship game with Greg Olsen, where that was the most watched, I think, Fox NFL broadcast ever outside of a Super Bowl, is Greg Olsen is going to be replaced by Tom Brady.
Which sucks. It might be really good. I think Greg Olsen has done a fantastic job this year being on the number 1 crew. And I think he's done enough to earn himself a spot. Now, he'll probably move down to the number 2 crew. That's my guess. But someone's going to get butted out because Tom Brady's making his way in.
The way you put together the number 2 crew and butted out.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
It was that for me.
Poem.
Yeah.
You are a poet today. Second time around.
I felt really good about that poem.
It was strong.
It's good. It's good. If you missed it, you can listen back on the free iHeart Radio app. You can download the podcast and listen.
Absolutely.
You think I should send
with
it to Jonas?
completely unlicensed music, by the way. Just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's right.
moving right along. The deal is this. Greg Olsen has done an amazing job working with Kevin Burkhardt. It is going to be Tom Brady jumping in the booth with Kevin Burkhardt, and I'm sure he'll do an amazing job too. But there is something about familiarity. We used to have the same voices in our household listening to football for years and years and years before there were any changes. It feels like it's musical chairs now. It feels like it's, different stations have different voice. I mean, there's no consistency here.
Well, there's more stations involved now.
Well, that's true.
So you're getting more voices just in general. So you got ESPN, who it has not only their ESPN broadcast, but then they have the Manning cast at the exact same time. So you can jump around and hear more voices there. You got Amazon, you got Peacock, ABC, whatever. But just that's what I said. NBC, ABC would be ESPN. You are absolutely correct. There's just a lot of voices out there. Also, to your point, as all these voices we grew up with, they've been there a long time. they have to go away at some point.
And some of them passed away.
Yeah.
Well, right. I mean,
Right.
look,
That's what I mean.
whoa. You tell me that ESPN doesn't have enough money to hire back John Madden?
Listen, AI John Madden, every game done.
All right, listen, talking about some old timers who can still do it, the Doobie Brothers. I went to their show 2 years ago. I was blown away. The voice of Michael McDonald, I mean, he may be peerless in terms of my favorite. Oh my gosh. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low. Okay, listen.
Is that Michael McDonald?
Yeah, he sings that song. Yeah, look it up. Come on. Ain't no mountain high enough. We have this opportunity for you to win a pair of tickets to the Doobie Brothers. That's coming up at 8:58. Call in at 877-767-4760 if you want to win a pair of Doobie Brother tickets.
Marvin Gaye
June
sings that song.
25th at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater.
Michael McDonald probably sang at some point.
LiveNation.com for tickets and info. I promise you, I have it on my phone. Okay. Michael McDonald song Ain't No Mountain High Enough. All right, coming up next on the other side, we got to get back to this New York Jets expose. But before we do that, why don't you expose yourself, Travis Dale?
Okay, let me just take this off. Everybody you guys just keep working. I'm going to get undressed, okay? Because I got a statement to make here, and that statement is SD Fat Loss, okay? SDFatLoss.com. It works. Okay, so let me take this off.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go, world.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
Wow.
What do you think of that?
You know what? He has bare chest. I did not expect that.
Listen.
He has zero body hair.
I came in with no pants on today because I'm pretty proud, boys. Down 31 pounds.
That means you've gained an inch.
That is absolutely correct. It's science. ST Fat Loss can help you there as well. Not only make you feel better, but look, we joke about this stuff. Obviously, we're trying to have a good time with it, but look, it works. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're going, I'm so tired of being out of shape and overweight and feeling like garbage every single day. I'm tired. I ache, whatever. Listen, lose some weight. That's every time you go to the doctor, that's what they say, right? You need to lose some weight. Well, let the coaches and staff at SD Fat Loss show you how to lose weight and how to lose weight quickly. And then most importantly, once you lose the weight, you keep the weight off, because you don't want to do one of the fad diets. You don't want to do one of these medication fad diets where it's just an appetite suppressant. Once you stop doing it, you're hungry again, man.
And what's this? What am I doing?
Yeah, I don't
like when you flick it over your wrist.
Yo-yo.
It's a yo-yo.
That's a yo-yo.
You don't want to do that.
Stay away from the yo-yo diets, okay? Stay away from the yo-yo diets. That's not what SD Fat Loss is, okay? It is the quickest way to lose weight healthy, and we got a break, okay? Ben is freaking out right now. Fletch is losing his mind. SDFatLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation today. SDFatLoss.com.
This update is presented by eBay Motors. Tough night for the Aztecs last night. They fall on the road to Colorado State 79-71. San Diego State would battle back in the second half. They actually took a brief lead at 61-60, but the boys ran out of gas to end the game. Next up for San Diego State, they got Utah State at Viejas Arena this Saturday at 12:30. Sticking with college hoops here, a couple big upsets last night. Number 3, North Carolina losing to Georgia Tech 74-73 on the road. Number 5, Tennessee losing at home at 63-59 to South Carolina. In the NFL, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson seemed to be a lock for that Washington Commanders head coaching job. News came down yesterday that Johnson is in fact going to stay with the Lions. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. A couple of changes around here, but listen, bear with us. So we have the Big Rich, TD, and Fletch big game tailgate party coming up on next Friday. So if you are interested in hanging out with us around this time or before, frankly, because we're going to be there from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can start showing up at 7 a.m. Over at K&B Bistro. That's going to be right off of the 8 freeway. You go north on College Avenue. You can't miss it. Big parking lot, plenty of parking spaces. Come and join us. We're going to have great giveaways. We're giving away a 65-inch television. We're going to bring that after the show to your house. You'll have to set it up because we don't know how, but we'll drop it off on your front lawn. Okay. We're going to have a free consultation, lab test done by Dr. Roy David, not on site. You're going to have to go to his clinic, but one of our listeners is going to win a free testosterone treatment if you're a candidate at the Man Zone. We're going to have some brand Mexican food, bringing out the food truck, bringing out all sorts of goodies. They're going to cater. It's going to be awesome, guys.
Some special guests slated to stop by. Some potential more giveaways being added as we speak.
Possibly you. Oh, wait, I'm not a giveaway.
Well, and a bunch of the Roadies, Dogs, Hangers, and Bangers already confirmed on the guest list. There is no guest list. You just show up if you want to come. But we've heard from Joe Moon. We've heard from Jeremy. We've heard from Foulmouth Carey. We've heard from Peter Solis. All's going to take the day off completely to swing by.
I think, did we get confirmation that Carolyn is flying down?
Yep. Taking red eye.
Yeah, good.
No big deal. No big deal. Perfect. The Queen of the North will be there in attendance.
And Patrick Allen from Florida, he's also taking a red eye.
Who won the Doobie Brother tickets? Do you remember the name?
I don't remember the name.
Okay. Yeah. Congratulations.
Very nice.
Okay. Well, good. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah.
Congratulations. West of the Rockies.
We started the show this morning talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And the reason why, because you would say to yourself, well, look, the Jets have been out of playoff contention for a while. They weren't even a part of the postseason. We're miles and miles from the name, the New York Jets, to even be nearly relevant in the sports world, right? Well, wrong. Because what happened this morning was a giant expose was released on the New York Jets in The Athletic. Diana Rossini, she was part and parcel to what ended up being 30 different sources who came up with this, I guess you would say, a tale of this 2023 season. Robert Saleh, head coach of the Jets, getting paranoid about leaks in his organization, panicking over the poor results of this season after Aaron Rodgers goes down with the Achilles. It is an Aaron Rodgers takeover in New York, worse than anybody predicted or could have forecasted. So what do we think?
Excuse you.
Thank you. What do we think? Are the New York Jets destined for failure? Is this all going to unravel, or is it just as simple as Aaron Rodgers just needed to play more football and everything would be fine?
So it's funny that we've heard now from two different head coaches about paranoia. Remember that was a storyline with Bill Belichick a week ago. They were talking about that when it comes to his prospects of getting a new head coaching job. And this article is just rife with Robert Saleh paranoia. I'd say that's the main touching point in here. And it went from the fact that his screensaver on his phone was Aaron Rodgers holding the American flag coming out of the tunnel, and he would show that to people to remind them what could have been for the season. He pulled numbers from Bill Belichick without Tom Brady, from Mike Tomlin without Big Ben, showing that, look, other head coaches around the league struggle when their star quarterback gets hurt. it sounds like it was a messy year for Robert Saleh. And then when that Pat McAfee interview came out with Aaron Rodgers talking about the leaks, and we got to find out who's at the bottom of all these things coming out, Robert Saleh threatened to take his employees' phones to figure out who is leaking information to the media. It sounds like things got ugly real fast.
The only way that this wouldn't have happened is if Aaron Rodgers would have played and played well. Because even if Aaron Rodgers played the whole season, but it was a disaster, you would still have to figure out why was the unraveling. Now, if Aaron Rodgers comes back next year and has an incredible year, I think all is fixed. I think that, this may still be talked about, mentioned, but it gets forgotten. I mean, winning fixes everything. But at the moment, things don't look good. And if Aaron Rodgers comes back and it is still a disaster, man, big problems. By the way, anytime you have a quarterback that comes in and they give all glory to them and everything gets handed over to them, they hand them the keys, I think it goes south. I think it goes south real fast. There's resentment in the locker room, especially if you aren't winning.
Unless your name is Tom Brady with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, but did they do all of that? Is it the same for Tom Brady? Because I don't remember hearing these kind of stories. However,
they won.
They won. Yeah, they won.
Well, look, there was that giant ESPN piece with Seth Wickersham. He released all of the discord that was happening in New England, even during all the winning, that there were two camps. It was the TB12 camp and it was the Patriot Way camp. And it started fracturing the team where you had guys who are actually going to get their treatment, like their physical therapy.
What was that guy's name? Alex Guerrero?
Alex Guerrero, with Tom Brady's famed personal coach.
Did you know him at all?
Oh, yeah.
Was that before your or during your time?
He was there the entire time I was there. Alex was welcome into the building. He worked with Tom Brady specifically, but I remember one time I tore my hamstring or pulled it really bad, and he was like, "You need to see Alex." And I was like, "I do?" And he goes, yeah. He's like, schedule with him. He was
he was not a Patriots employee.
No,
ever.
He was not. He was never, but he was welcome to come in at Tom's leisure whenever he needed him, which was every single day. You would see Alex Guerrero around the building. And I remember scheduling an appointment with him. I didn't even know what we were going to do. I was like, so what does this guy do? So I was talking to I was like, have you ever been told to go visit Alex Guerrero by Tom Brady? And other guys were like, yeah, he's basically a massage therapist. He's going to do some stretching with you and stuff like that. And that's what happened. You get your hamstring rubbed on, stretches you out a little bit. And that was about it. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I mean, but I get it. If you have a guy at a moment's beckons where you can just have him come in and help you out with literally anything physical, I guess it can benefit you. So, but he opened up a clinic, that place fractured. But getting back to Aaron Rodgers, the same thing's happening in New York, but there's no long-standing relationship with the organization. And so you're seeing all of this stuff come out now. One of my favorite lines from all of this was with Zach Wilson. You remember when he took over, and it was right after the Achilles tear. He obviously stepped into that Bills game, but he was going to be the guy for the rest of the way. Listen to this one line. Wilson told coaches and teammates he was under the impression that he'd have a direct line to Rodgers even after Rodgers tore his Achilles and flew home to California for surgery in the early stages of his rehab. Instead, Wilson barely heard from him. It was only after The Athletic reported about Wilson's hesitance that it went into Saleh's office and said that he'd start against the Houston Texans that week if asked. He did have the best game of his season, outdoing CJ Stroud with the surprising 30-6 win before suffering a concussion the next week that ended his season. But how about that? All of these reports that Rodgers was going to be Wilson's mentor and help him rise up and become what they were hoping he was with the first-round draft pick. All of that fell by the wayside after the Achilles. And I believe publicly we were led to believe that Rodgers was there helping and supporting him.
Yeah. I mean, no, I there's problems in New York. I mean, there's problems that I don't see fixed until next season when you can start putting some wins in the bank. I mean, that's it. That's it.
The parts of this article that should make you smile ear to ear is the fact that it wasn't the Broncos' problem. It wasn't Nathaniel Hackett's problem.
Well,
this article goes into depth with these 30 different sources about how bad Nathaniel Hackett is at his job and how bad he is at taking any sort of criticism. And anytime he would get criticism, his response was always, well, that's how Aaron wants it.
Yeah.
Even after Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a couple seasons ago, it was the Broncos' problem. So I mean, it's almost deja vu here with Russell Wilson and the discord he had in the locker room. The difference is actually when we hear from Jets players, they praise Aaron Rodgers. So it's not like there's a fracture between Aaron Rodgers and the players for the most part.
Well, but listen to this. The reason why all of those players were praising him is for this sentence right here. The uncertainty around the 2024 season lingered until Rodgers publicly endorsed Saleh and Douglas, his head coach and his GM, a few days before the Week 16 game against the Commanders on Christmas Eve. So think about that. So this is almost like waiting for your vice president bid after you drop out of the primary race. This is like waiting for your cabinet position to come out reported or get the phone call from the leading candidate for your party when you've fallen off the radar as a combatant of that party member. Like Rodgers was in control of Robert Saleh's fate. He was in control of Douglas's fate as the general manager. That means all of the other players on the roster are under Aaron Rodgers' thumb. So, of course, they're going to come out in support of Rodgers.
What I got is in the NFL, apparently they have offered Taylor Swift multiple millions of dollars to make an appearance at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Wow. So
she's made a decision.
Jump on the stage with Usher?
That's all they want. She's going to be.
They don't even want her to sing?
They want her to make a quick appearance. I'm sure there's going to be, at least a half a song sung, maybe a little collab done. But I mean, multiple millions of dollars to do this because she's going to be there anyways. She said no. Wouldn't do it.
Wow.
Okay, let's play the thought experiment, though. What Usher song would you want to see her duet on? I got mine.
I'll take that. Rewind it back. Usher's got the beats that make the booty go.
I want to make love in this club. In this club.
In this club. I think that's maybe the only Usher song I know.
These are my confessions.
Yeah, I guess I know the song.
I came up with more.
Yeah.
Reason to.
How about just
There's no way that she would come sing the song, right?
Let it burn.
Right. The coaching carousel continues to spin. The Steelers hire ex-Falcons head coach Arthur Smith as their new offensive coordinator. So they're going to be real good now. They're so much better now.
Very competitive.
Nobody's going to pay offensive coordinator Ben Johnson enough money, so he's going to stay put in Detroit. In college hoops, the Aztecs lose a heartbreaker to Colorado State, 71.
Not where Dion is.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is the Colorado State Buffaloes, right, guys?
That's all they have in Colorado State. Aztecs are now 16-5 on the season in the NBA. Boston gave the Pacers more than a feeling. 129-124.
Boston the band.
The Knicks jolly old sainted the Jazz. 118-103.
Good Lord.
The Warriors set fire to the rain. Philadelphia 119-107.
That one doesn't make sense.
Adele.
Okay.
Adele.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Raptors Shroud of Turin towed the Bulls.
Oh my gosh.
119-107.
Oh my gosh. The Shroud of Turin.
Towed.
Oh no.
And, the Hawks loogied the Lakers.
Oh,
138-122.
All right, that's enough. We're done.
Pretty
We're
good.
done. That's and that's the NBA scoreboard for today.
I still have no idea who won.
We never do.
All the teams with more points won.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Jeez. It's like it every day.
Let me ask this question. Honestly, more of a wide question about the NFL and some of these coaches who've kept their jobs and some of these coaches who. So Robert Saleh, he keeps his job after this disastrous season. Mike McCarthy keeps his job after a good regular season, really disappointing postseason compared to that.
They got their asses kicked by the Packers.
You know, you look at Bill Belichick, he gets fired. You look at Pete Carroll, he gets fired. Now, I'm not saying Bill, it's been a little bit of a slide over the past couple of seasons, basically outside of Mac Jones' rookie year when
did he actually get fired?
Yeah, let's face it. If he didn't, he'd still be in New England. Now they parted amicably, but let's face it, he would still be in New England if he didn't get fired.
So with Bill Belichick, it gets interesting now because I think everyone thought Ben Johnson was going to get the Washington Commanders job, but he kind of laughed at what they were willing to pay him, so he stayed in Detroit. So that Washington Commanders job is open. That was the first one we ever heard in any sort of connection with Bill Belichick before he even left the Patriots. Is it possible that our predictions from yesterday are out the window now and Bill Belichick's just going to go coach in Washington?
Well, so what was interesting about the Raheem Morris hire in Atlanta was the fact that it came after several interviews with Belichick, at least two, and that was really the only team officially he was linked to. I think there was a lot of speculation that he would consider Washington, but I don't know if there was any even smoke there. I think it was just speculation. In terms of like Atlanta, like he actually met with those folks. And we could argue that, yeah, this was a one-sided deal where Atlanta did not want to hire Belichick, but we also know that Belichick keeps his camp quiet. Like, we heard that Atlanta and the front office balked at having Bill Belichick come in and completely refigure the place in his image. But the reality of the situation is maybe Bill was asking for too much money and they said, we're not going to pay you that. And he was like, fine, well, then I will not coach here.
Did Jim Harbaugh really screw this up for a lot of coaches who are trying to get paid now? Like, did Ben Johnson ask for Jim Harbaugh money?
Probably not Jim Harbaugh money. In fact, I would guarantee not Jim Harbaugh money, but he probably was asking for a significant amount of dough because what he's put together in terms of his resume, nothing short of impressive. And he's going to have to go to Washington and probably work with a brand new quarterback and refigure somebody who wasn't a veteran coming in. Okay, so here we are. We've got to do this. TD, we go live again.
Yeah, we got the chopper fired up. We got to head out to the parking lot. I believe hovering over iHeart San Diego studios from News Radio 600 Kogo. Lucinda K. Lucinda, can you hear us? No, stay airborne. Stay airborne. Yeah, stay airborne. Yeah.
We want you to hover.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Jeez, I'll tell you what. She's like Tom Cruise from those Mission Impossible movies.
You gotta stay low. We are an approach area here for
exactly
the
right.
So.
Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic what we've seen so far today in terms of the generosity, and it should only continue as our parking lot will be open to visitors up until 5 p.m. today. It's iHeart San Diego's effort to collect lightly used clothing, blankets. If you have some new toiletries that have just been lying around, I mean, skincare, toothpaste, toothbrushes, anything that's unopened, bring them to the iHeart Radio parking lot, and we will collect them and distribute them. And Lucinda, awesome work covering this event as it unfolds, and we appreciate your time this morning. No question about it. Lucinda, awesome job. There she goes. Wow, she grabbed onto
It's like a rope ladder that just flew out of that thing.
The landing rails of the helicopter, and very much in a very Tom Cruise way, she is floating off into the distance now.
Incredible. I just got checked by our traffic guy, Mark Zegan. He said, hey, you need to double check that Taylor Swift story because this was sent out from the NFL that says we do not pay the artist. We cover expenses and production costs, but we don't pay the artist.
That's always been the case.
Hang on. Yeah. But this is different. And Mark Zegan, if you're listening, we appreciate it.
Come to the big game tailgate.
The Super Bowl, they don't normally pay their halftime acts. In fact, I don't think they have in decades. But Taylor Swift is different.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, like, this is the exception that proves the rule. Like, yeah, nobody would get payment except for somebody who's had a estimated $300 million impact on the league this year.
Low estimate.
That is a low estimate. I think it's probably closer to $500 million. We talked about this yesterday. So if Taylor Swift, say you part with, I don't know, what would it cost? $5 million to get her interested? $10 million?
Yeah, right.
I mean, whatever you pay her to.
That's incredible, by the way.
For 5 minutes of her time.
Yeah.
To show.
Not even.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. She'll come out for like a 30-second cameo and she could make millions of dollars.
I know this week we're going to get the numbers on like how much a 30-second commercial costs in the Super Bowl. 2 of those and you're good to pay Taylor Swift whatever she wants because you're going to get more eyeballs on those commercials than ever in the past.
Guess what?
Because she's there.
Those Super Bowl commercials got a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No
and
question.
And the NFL could just kind of sit back and say, yep. God, CBS lucked out.
Dude,
did they not? This is going to be the most watched Super Bowl in history.
In history.
Yeah, right.
And it's not even going to be close, by the way.
Because Gen Zers are making up nearly 24% of the viewership for the NFL right now. I mean, which is, it's a market that they haven't been able to tap into. They think that 75% plus of all televisions in the country will be tuned in to this year's Super Bowl.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. And it just continues. I mean, you say this year's Super Bowl will be the most watched. Every year's Super Bowl is the most watched. It just keeps going up and up and up, but this will probably beat out past viewership by a tremendous amount. All right. Hey, before we scram and talk to Mike Sando, who's the lead NFL writer for The Athletic, a Hall of Fame voter, friend of the show.
Text line also asking TD to take a lap.
Yeah.
I think you owe a couple.
Yeah, you might.
For real? What?
Yeah, well,
I thought that was really good.
But before you do, hang on. Feel these pecs. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see that?
Wow.
You see what's going on right now?
This is incredible.
Yeah. Want to know why they feel that way?
Why do they feel that way? Why do they feel that way?
Because of the man zone and golden triangle plastic surgery.
They're even so soft against my cheek, yet still so rock hard.
I mean, I was saying touch my pecs with your hand, but I mean the face is okay, I guess. Look, so golden triangle plastic surgery has this place called the Man Zone. Yeah, he's still rubbing. It was founded by Dr. Roy David. He's the medical director over at the Man Zone, and I got to tell you, ever since going and getting my T levels checked with Dr. Roy David, it was the best decision of my life. So what happened was I got my T levels checked. We found out in this range, it goes from about 300 to 1,000. I was in the low end of that range. I was around 350. And that's just too low for a guy who's 37 years old. So I started getting testosterone replacement treatment. This is months ago now, probably right around the end of September. And it's made such an impactful change. It's not just the pecs, it's the glutes. It's the quads. I mean, some people compliment me on my rhomboids. I've heard that. The loins. I don't even know what muscle that is, but I got tender ones. Look, the point is this. If you, like me, you're waking up feeling like you have a little brain fog, you're feeling a little sluggish, you may be thinking to yourself, well, I go to bed too late, or, geez, I work hard during the day, or, boy, oh boy, like, I might be burning the candle at both ends. No, it may not be any of that. It could just be simply because your testosterone numbers are slipping and you didn't even realize it. So I suggest this for all men. You should get your testosterone levels checked annually, like as part of your annual physical. Go over to the Man Zone and check them out at themanzone.com to do this. Schedule your first appointment completely free, a free consultation. Get your T levels checked. Dr. Roy David will walk you through the entire process at the Man Zone. And I'm telling you, I've never done more push-ups in my life. I've never done more pull-ups. I mean, I'm doing pull-ups like at least like 3 at a time now. Never happened in my life. Look, the point is the Man Zone's awesome. The people over there are awesome. It is a really relaxed atmosphere. It doesn't feel like a doctor's office at all. You walk in there, they got these leather chairs. They got the big screen TV. You could watch ESPN. You could sip on a beer, maybe a little bit of bourbon while you're waiting to get your T levels checked. It's completely comfortable. It's for you. If you're considering getting your T levels checked, do it at the Man Zone. Check them out at themanzone.com.
Hey, it's Fletch for SDFatLoss.com. And do us a favor, get on over to SDFatLoss.com today. Schedule a free consultation with Wayne and Chloe. It's not going to cost you anything. It's just a free consultation where you can talk about some of your health goals for the new year. 2024 is going to be crazy. I got like 5 different weddings to go to, and I want to be looking good for all of them. And I'm glad I met Wayne and Chloe when I did, because it really doesn't take that long to get into some pretty great shape with SDFatLoss.com. TD, what am I doing right now?
You're flicking that yo-yo.
Flicking the yo-yo,
Yeah.
man, and you don't want to do that. The yo-yo diets can be a thing of the past. All you got to do is get on over to sdfatloss.com, get rid of the fads, get rid of the injections and the prescription medications. Most people don't realize that while you might lose weight on the fads or the prescription medications, it's just from temporarily suppressing your hunger. As soon as you get off those drugs, your frustration and your weight will come right back to haunt you. SDFatLoss.com. They got the secret for quick weight loss, most importantly, lasting weight loss. The 3 of us all down 35 plus pounds since we started with SDFatLoss.com. And the cool thing is we're keeping it off. And it's just using real whole foods, proprietary strategies to help your body become you once again. SDFatLoss.com. Get a free consultation today. You got nothing to lose but
those unwanted pounds.
This update is presented by KFC. Tough night for Aztecs hoops yesterday. They fall on the road to Colorado State, 79-71. San Diego State would battle back in the second half to take the lead, 61-60, but the boys would just run out of gas to close the game. Next up for San Diego State, they got Utah State at Viejas Arena this Saturday at 12:30. Still have a pair of tickets for that coming up in the next 30 minutes. Sticking with college hoops, couple big upsets last night. Number 3, North Carolina losing to Georgia Tech, 74-73 on the road. Number 5, Tennessee losing at home last night, 63-59 to unranked South Carolina. In the NFL, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson seemed to be a lock for that Washington Commanders job. Then news came down yesterday that Johnson's actually going to stay with the Lions next year. KFC's new Smashed Potato Bowl is here. Fries, mashed potatoes, cheese, and bacon, they come together to make a smashable snack that's only $3.49. It's finger licking good.
It's Big Rich, CD, and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760, and we have a very special event happening in the parking lot here at iHeart San Diego, because residents of San Diego, with the storms in the past week and a half, were severely impacted. A lot of them displaced, a lot of our neighbors displaced. So thousands of people who are in shelters right now, and they need some of the basics here to piece their lives back together. So from 8 to 5, starting now until 5 p.m., you can drop off donations right here at the iHeart Studios. The address, 9660 Granite Ridge Drive, right off Arrow in the 15. We're collecting new and gently used clothing, toiletries, anything you can give here to piece lives back together. Very important.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Switching gears back to the NFL. We have one of our favorites, I should say, a friend of the show, Mike Sando, joining us, The Athletic, lead NFL writer, Hall of Fame selector, been in this business forever. He's covered the entirety of the Aaron Rodgers career covering the NFL. And Mike, your cohorts at The Athletic out in New York, printing an expose with 30 different sources on some of the discord happening with the Jets organization. What was your reaction? I'm not sure if you read the whole piece yet. It's a long one. It's really detailed. But what is your reaction to the temperament and the environment in New York with the Jets currently?
Yeah, I mean, it's untenable. I think we all knew that they're really only holding this together because Aaron Rodgers got hurt and he will be healthy next season going into the year. So they're kind of doing a lot of things for the wrong reasons. It's time for, a fresh start and a reset there, obviously, but they're committed to Rodgers. So, like I said, they're doing things for the wrong reasons, and there's a lot of people not happy about it.
Hey, Mike, a Hall of Fame selector. So when I hear that and I think about what's going on right now, this year's Super Bowl, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, if he wins a Super Bowl, is that an automatic, this guy's in the Hall of Fame, at least for what he's done right now?
No. I mean, any more than Jim Plunkett won 2 of them and is not in the Hall of Fame. There's lots of quarterbacks who have won the Super Bowl and are not in the Hall of Fame. So I think, Brock Purdy's had a great season. Is it a season and a half now? About?
Yeah.
For a really good team, and he's done a really nice job. But I think when my quarterback tiers come out in the summer, it's not like he's going to be in tier 1, right? People aren't going to say he's a 1 with Mahomes. I think we can see the difference between the 2 quarterbacks. So
some people
I think he's done a great job, but I don't think we're anointing here for the Hall of Fame. Were you being facetious?
No. I wasn't. I was just thinking it's a pretty incredible run from being the last guy picked in the draft, and then all of a sudden, the second season in, you're in the big game, man. You are at the big dance. So no, I wasn't being facetious. I was just curious as a Hall of Fame selector, what it was looked at, what it was looked like.
I don't think our standards have come down that far. But, I think we're not going to waive the 5-year waiting period. But seriousness though, he's done a great job. I mean, what more would you want from him than what he's done? It's been amazing. They really could have been a disaster where everyone got fired because they botched the quarterback thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what happened. And he has been way better than anybody thought.
If it was just the Trey Lance story, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, neither of them would have a job right now. But the Brock Purdy thing kind of saved them. When you look at the NFC Championship game, Mike, and you look at the play calling from Dan Campbell, it's been under constant scrutiny since the minute it happened, really. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's warranted, or do you think that the Lions were playing Lions football and they lost playing their best football?
Well, I think it's definitely warranted to have the discussion, and I totally understand people who, could disagree with it. I think there's room for disagreement when you look at these. Even the, the analytics models are saying you should go for it, but like your advantage is like 0.2%, not 2%, like 0.2%. Well, come on. You think a 0.2% in some model is enough to say that you have to do it 100% of the time, right? There's discretion here that can be used on it. I kind of like more of what he did because for two factors. Since over the last 2 years, they're number one in the league in how frequently they've gone for it, fourth down, 2 and 3 yards to go. Their 70% make rate coming in. Their kicker for his career is 8 of 16 outdoors from that general distance range, I think 45 to 50. So, you're playing a little bit of a wet surface on grass. You're a dome team. It's totally reasonable that the Lions might have been thinking, and they would never say this, but they might have been thinking, I don't like our chances with our kicker today. Let's go with what got us here. And they scheme up a wide open wide receiver. The quarterback throws it to him, hits him right in the hands. I mean, you'd take that, right? Him dropping that ball is the same as the kicker missing it. It's just something that it could happen. But I think, I don't think he created some kind of malpractice of coaching by the decisions that he made.
Mike Sando joining us this morning, The Athletic lead NFL writer. You write the Pick Six column, and I love reading this, Mike. And I think your insight was really good this week specifically. The word legacy, it's often thrown around when we talk about certain players and coaches, obviously. 3 of them that you spotlighted in your most recent column: Lamar Jackson, Dan Campbell, Patrick Mahomes. The story is still untold what this season's going to end up being for Mahomes. But when you think about those 3 names, what did this postseason do for those 3 legacies?
Well, it put Lamar Jackson in a little bit of a tough spot because he's reached a level now where you're really measured against the very best, right? He's probably going to be a 2-time MVP. So the fact that he hasn't had more playoff success will come to define him in an outsized way. We've seen this happen with other players, right? For a while, it was Peyton Manning early in his career, couldn't get past Brady or couldn't do it. So he has to live with that until he gets past it. And he just has to, hope or that's how the way it remains, right? But that just is what it is. Hey, great player, but we're measuring you now against the great winners. And that means championships. So I think that is somewhat defining of him. Campbell, I think I wasn't thinking of him as much in a legacy standpoint. I think his legacy really is wonderful. It's really the bigger picture of 30 years of futility, an organization that couldn't do anything right, and he's got them believing and winning multiple games in the playoffs. I think his legacy is set in a much more positive way, right? He's not going to be measured the same way as Lamar Jackson right now because he took over a franchise that was horrific. So everything he's done beats expectations, right? And then Mahomes is really he is a Hall of Famer if he retires right now. I think we say that. And then he's just now competing against how quickly can he win the championship. So if he gets his 3rd championship this year, he matches Brady and I believe Troy Aikman for the first 7 years of a career.
Wow.
I believe to have 3 wins. And so that's really what he's doing. He's got a chance. I mean, if he wins this thing, that Brady winning 7 doesn't seem as far-fetched because Brady went like 9 years without one after about this point in his career. Do we think Mahomes is not going to win any of the next 9? At the same time, is he going to play as long as Tom? So he better get going, right?
Yeah. And by the way, I was part of 3 of those Patriot teams that didn't win a Super Bowl when Tom Brady went through that drought. I wish we would have, Mike. Hey, buddy, we appreciate it every time you jump on the show with us. Thanks for doing it. We'll do it again real soon.
Hey, thank you.
There he goes. Mike Sando, The Athletic, incredible writer covering the NFL. Follow him on X, and I'll pull up his name. It is Sando NFL. Easy one to find. Okay, coming up next, bottom of the barrel on this show, but I want to talk to everybody about Ocean View Dental and my dentist, Dr. Jordan Colby over at Ocean View Dental. He has just been an incredible asset for me in my life. It's rare that you talk about a dentist this way, but I can't express to you enough how life-changing my visits with him have been. I had a mess of work that needed to be done on my mouth. A tooth extraction, 3 implants needed to be put in. I didn't know where to start. I was told this process would take 1.5 years. Well, after meeting with Dr. Colby and him showing me this procedure and pictures of what the procedure would entail, I felt 100% confident and comfortable going with him and having this work done. It only took 3 months. It all occurred in his office. All the imaging was done in his office. The oral surgery itself was done in his office. Plus, he's a dentist, so I come back for my teeth cleanings. My whole family does now. His motto is, no matter your situation, he can help you create a confident and healthy smile, and I can attest to that. He's been incredible for me. Like I said, incredible for my family. The office he's created there in Oceanside, another office in Fallbrook. It's a family environment. Head to oceanviewdental.net. That's oceanviewdental.net. Hey, it's Rich. Sorry, I was just doing 1,000 push-ups. Hang on. Oh, gosh. Oh, thank you to the Man Zone at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, Dr. Roy David, the medical director over there. I've just been...
I lost count. It was actually 1,011 push-ups
okay,
you just did. So, sorry.
Be ready to count some more because I'm not done. It's been a pretty productive morning around here because I like to break a mental sweat too, but also I've become way more physical since getting my testosterone checked over at the Man Zone. Okay, Dr. Roy David's a genius. I can't even describe it any other way. I walked into the office at the Man Zone and I was like, "Hey, Doc, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey, man." He was like, you're looking a little sluggish. I said, "Yeah, I kind of feel a little sluggish." He said, "Do you have any brain fog?" I said, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "You want to fix that?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "You know how?" I'm like, "How?" He's like, "Let's get your T levels checked. Let's boost you up if you're low." And as it turns out, I was.
Yeah, and I've become more physical since you started over there at the Man Zone. I can't keep my hands off you.
He said, "Yeah." Every once in a while, I just see him cupping my rhomboids, and I'm like, "Hey, hands off the merchandise, fella."
Quick massage. I want to loosen you up.
Yeah. Listen, the back muscles are coming through. The pecs are fired up. As I mentioned, 1,011 push-ups. Look, the point is, at the Man Zone, they fix a huge problem for a lot of men as they age. If you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, or like me, in your 30s, I'm 37 years old. I had no idea I had low testosterone. Here were my symptoms. Like I said, brain fog, waking up feeling sluggish, waking up like feeling like I could never get enough sleep at night. And as a result of that, I thought that that's just what it was going to be for now on. Maybe just add a couple more cups of coffee each morning. I don't need as much caffeine after getting my testosterone checked, finding out I was in the 300s, getting those numbers boost up through my monthly treatments at the Man Zone, and you can too. So again, if you're in your late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, don't wait a second longer. Go to themanzone.com. That's themanzone.com. I'll say it again, themanzone.com. Back to the push-ups. Wow. Listen, if you're excited, we are too. Out front of iHeart San Diego, we have an awesome thing going on. So if you're driving around today or just leaving for work, that's even better, right? Grab whatever you have that you can donate. Lightly used clothing, blankets. There are people who are affected by the flooding just over a week ago in San Diego who could use your help. So come on out to 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. All that collection effort is going on up until 5 p.m. It's open now. Cars have been passing through. It's really fun out there. Also, we have a ticket giveaway.
That's right. Want to give a time?
Yeah. What do you think?
I say 56.
856 at 877-767-4760. If you want to get Aztecs tickets for this weekend's game against Utah State, 12:30 tip on Saturday. What do you got, Fletch?
Couple texts coming in late in the show. 619, are you guys still accepting donations for flood victims? I have 2 tents and some clothing. Yes, absolutely. Bring it by 9660 Granite Ridge Drive.
Sweet.
We got tent set up out front. Just go to the 761 and say Big Rich, TD, and Fletcher, your favorite people in the entire world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what you want
And then come to the big game tailgate on Friday.
913.
Today was a double dose of goodness. We had Lucinda K, and you guys bring the goodness every day to
Wow,
us.
look at that. Joy moments.
Yeah, those joy moments are important. Collect them when you can. Yeah, speaking of which, that Big Rich, TD, and Fletch big game tailgate party is not happening this Friday. It's happening next Friday, February 9th, right before the big game. It's the Friday before the big game.
That sounds big.
You know, the big game that kicks off in Vegas? Have you heard of this?
I haven't, but maybe I can Google it.
Yeah. Anyways, apparently there's a big game coming up in about 11 days.
All I knew is there was a big game tailgate.
We are going to tailgate before it on Friday over at KMB Bistro. It's College Avenue North off the 8. You can't miss it. Awesome place to go and eat anyways and hang a keg and bottle. They've got 10 locations around San Diego, but we're going to be at that specific one from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. partying with all the hangers, the bangers, the roadies, the dogs. It's going to be an awesome time. You could win a 65-inch television. You could get a free first testosterone treatment at the Man Zone provided by Dr. Roy David and the Man Zone at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery.
Peter Solis wants that.
Oh, does he?
Oh, yeah.
All he has to do is sign up for a raffle.
Right on,
he can win it.
Actually, TD and I were talking. It sounds like we're going to have like a QR code.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be, we're like high tech.
We had meetings yesterday.
Future is now.
There's been a lot of meetings about the big game tailgate.
Big game tailgate.
Apparently, there's a lot of verbiage that you can't say around the big game tailgate.
Yeah, we got a big game tailgate hater in the building.
Who's
Won't
that?
name names.
Yeah.
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah. There are certain people who are like, oh, why are you doing that? Well, we'll tell you why after we do it.
It's called fun.
Hey, bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
You know the Apple headset, the ski goggles they wanted everyone to
Porno
to wear?
goggles.
The porno goggles, yeah. So they went for pre-sale orders. They sold out. 200,000 of these things sold out. They're $3,500 a piece. That's $700 million in porn goggles.
Dude, yeah. So, okay, if you're catching up, virtual reality apparently is going to be the new reality. And so Apple's getting ahead of this game with these, like this headset you wear, this VR headset. And yeah, the first time we read a release about this, we're like, oh yeah, we get it, Apple. You want to get on interactive porn.
Right. But how cool would it be? Big game with AI goggles down on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what's going to happen. Is the NFL is going to sell Super Bowl tickets and you are going to be down on the field.
I love this piano interlude we have. This is good.
It's not an interlude. It's the end. It's the grand finale.
The outro.
Wait, is that what this one's called?
Yeah. Thank you to Mike Sando of The Athletic. He's like a football Wikipedia. Love having it on. Thank you, Rich. Thank you to TD. Thank you to the Roadies, the Hangers, the Dogs, the Bangers. Open until 5 o'clock today at 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. If you want to drop off any lightly used clothing, drop it off here. It's helping out everybody who was impacted by the floods last week, and who knows, the rain coming this week. Come on down. We'll be out front actually for the next 20 minutes or so. The three of us.
Yeah. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna be back tomorrow with our big game appetizer showdown.
Ooh.
The three of us.